Hey, how's it going, everybody? The show you're about to watch is with Trevor Cotter. Trevor is an entrepreneur and a professional shooter. Ironically, over the next 3.5 hours, we talk very little about either of those things. We do, however, go in about 1,000 different directions, including things like the Batman and family. Prior to doing the show, Trevor and I had never met in person. We were introduced through Trevor's personal trainer and friend of mine, Quentin Wilsford. After our discussion, Trevor and I realized that we have connections going back all the way to the late 90s and early 2000s, including a pretty heavy family connection for Trevor. If you guys like what I'm doing here, please give the show a subscribe. Turn on the notifications so that when I post new content or go live, you'll immediately be notified. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And as always, I hope you enjoy the show. My father used to take me pretty much to every natural disaster in the country. And in 92, when Hurricane Andrew went through, he was down there a lot. So I was 10. So he started taking me. And then on the trips I wouldn't go with him, he would every single time bring back something from University of Miami. That's badass. And so, man, I fell in love with it, fell in love with the school, and like that was just like that's where I wanted to go, and ultimately ended up being my place. So,
dude, back in the day, man, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, dude, that was the most ridiculous college as far as sports teams go, especially football, dude.
Yeah.
Those teams were insane. You think about the monsters that came out of the Hurricanes, man. Out of Miami University.
Well, they're attributed to what they, create what we now call swag.
Yeah.
I mean, that was what was created in the early 90s. It was insane. You know, what you see now when everybody uses these fire extinguishers to make off smoke, they were doing that shit back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And they were partying. But the crazy thing about them was that at that time, like 50% of the team was either like on parole or probation.
Yeah.
Like they were all in trouble, man.
Yeah, dude.
They were partiers. But yeah, if you go back and you think about, just right off the top of my head, Michael Irvin,
dude, Ray Lewis,
Ed Reed. Ed Reed was the other one I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
Dude, you just bring up just a couple of these guys, you're like,
monsters.
Insane, right? Yeah. But yeah, it was an easy team to fall in love with. But it was really weird growing up on the ranch out here was that I go to school. It's back in the day when, like the big puffy starter jackets.
Oh, yeah.
And so growing
big
up around
Michelin Man jackets.
Yeah. Everybody around here had on, Texas A&M or UT or something like that. And every once in a while you might see like a Notre Dame or you might see like a North Carolina.
That weird kid who moved in.
Yeah.
A Notre Dame fan.
Exactly. And I'm like, but I grew up out here. And I'm walking around in my Miami jacket, and everybody's like, "What's wrong with you? Like you're like." For some reason, it made more sense to them to wear like some of this other, like maybe a UCLA something. And I was like, I had Miami stuff on all the time.
Dude, my brother, so my adoptive brother, grew up here, Tomball, same as me. Everyone grew up here, right? Diehard Florida Gators fan, like.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the most annoying shit you ever saw, right? Thinks they're still to this day is like, oh, dude, when Tim Tebow was at the Gators, man, that was the greatest college team of all time. And I'm like, are you high?
Yeah.
They were good. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, like you're not talking about 5 championships within a 10-year span, kind of like amazing. No. And don't get me wrong, Tim Tebow was like he was a great player. Like he was a great college athlete. Player, but yeah, at the same time, it's like okay,
if he would have been a tight end through college, he'd still be in the NFL.
Yeah, he's way too big to be a quarterback.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's funny because coming out of college, everyone was like, "Oh, Tim Tebow is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread," and all the analysis guys were like, "He's gonna fucking suck,"
Yeah,
dude, they were right, man. Sometimes those guys get it right.
It is, it's a trip, man. To like, I don't get it. And I guess maybe it's like your sport enough and like you study it and things like that. And so you see I guess if you're watching somebody long enough, because that's exactly where they're at. It's like when we drafted J.J. Watt.
Mm-hmm.
Like the city booed him.
Oh, dude, it was the worst. I remember I was pissed.
Yeah.
I'm a diehard Texans fan. I went to the very first Texans game ever, the opening game against the Cowboys. They won. And my dad has always been a Cowboys fan, right? So he took me to the Cowboys-Texans game. We did the Bubble Bowl brunch, everything, right? I've been a fan ever since, right? When we drafted J.J. Watt, I went, what the fuck is going on? What are we doing, right? Especially with they've had one of the worst offenses in the league forever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why aren't we going out and getting a franchise guy on the offense? All the analysis people were like, dude, I'm telling you, this guy's going to be a guy.
Yeah.
They're right. That's why they get paid.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're getting fucking paid and we're not. While we're paying for the tickets to go watch the games. Yeah, I don't, but I do. I mean, I don't get it, which is still, even to that point, like, I grew up an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could look at, and I was on the world team, I was a world champion. Like, I don't think I could look at these other kids and analyze them. Maybe there's not enough data. Maybe from, I guess, the combine and a bunch of other stuff and those other metrics. Billy Bean, Moneyball and all that stuff. I guess maybe they understand something that we don't.
I think I had a coach that said it best, right? Because I was, I'm still an athlete, right? I'm a professional athlete to this day. And I played football growing up, and I was a fairly good football player, right? And I remember asking my coach one day, dude, do you think that I really have what it takes? And he goes, nobody fucking knows. He's like, nobody knows. You could be, he goes, you may, I don't know. He goes, but all these guys who are analyzing all these college athletes and these high school athletes, nobody knows. He goes, think about it this way, right? Thousands of kids get scholarships every year, right? What, a couple hundred make it to the NFL?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was like 280 got drafted like that this year, something like that.
280 get drafted, right? Out of that 280, what, 80 of them are going to make an active roster?
Yeah.
In reality.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking knows.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's a great example, right? Basically shared starting half a season and gets drafted almost dead last, like 198th, goes on to be the greatest football player of all time.
Yeah.
Like, nobody fucking knows. And then you got Ryan Leaf. Comes out of college. They're like, this guy's gonna be
amazing.
Shit.
Yeah,
this guy is the next whoever, right? And ends up
massive fucking flop.
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, what a bummer.
One of my wife's cousins played high school football with Johnny Manziel.
Yeah,
and before he got famous, right, when he was just now starting at A&M and like starting to catch some fire, we were at a family event. And everybody was talking because my wife's whole family are Aggies.
Yeah.
Right. My whole family are University of Texans fans. Right. My aunt was the vice president of UT for 40 some odd years.
Right? Oh, that'd have been fun.
Oh yeah.
Those are fun gatherings.
So fun, right? I went to U of H, so I'm neutral.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Well, everybody's looking down on you to begin with. They're like, I
couldn't afford it.
Oh, yeah.
No.
How was that junior college?
Yeah, basically, right?
That's exactly how people from A&M and UT look at like U of H.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But that kid, he was like, he said, oh, he won't make it. He'd be lucky to make it out of college. He was like, kid will fuck it up. Kid fucks everything up. And I was like, what? Dude, he knew. He grew up with him. And he was like, kid's not going anywhere. He'll maybe play a year in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, dude. You're watching this superhuman in college. He's superhuman.
Yeah.
Shit he was doing. You're like, what is going on?
Yeah. But I guess that too brings kind of the level of play, shows you the level of difference in play between college and NFL. It's not like you just transition over. And of course that would go for any sport. Of course there's, we don't, I don't fucking like the dude, LeBron, but you have to, like, the talent that it showed is like, goes straight out of high school to be one of the most dominant players in the NBA.
That's insane when you
think
about it.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's already 6'8", 240 pounds. This is a big kid playing high school basketball. Could you imagine? Man, you're just a regular dad. You got your kid out there. You're like, man, you're happy he made the team and shit. But he's like 5'9", 6 foot tall, and you got fucking LeBron James dunking on him.
Pissed.
I would be so goddamn mad.
I'd be pissed.
You're like what the fuck? Who brought in the goddamn ringer?
Yeah.
Like you're bringing in like a European League player that you can't verify his birth certificate. He's just over here fucking dunking on kids.
Yeah, dude, you run it. Like, I ran into those people playing sports growing up. Like,
Yeah.
when I was playing football, I remember, I think it was my senior year, we were playing, how was it? Yeah, I think it was Katy. Yeah, we were playing Katy. And there were the two starting tackles were brothers. Both of them, like, 6'8", 300 and something pounds, both committed to Oregon, right? And I remember we're playing these kids, and I was dominating motherfuckers all year. And I remember I looked at this kid and went, "Oh, I'm gonna run you right the fuck over." Right? I hit that guy I put my screws right in his chest. He set his ass down and pressed me out like I was nothing. And I went, "Okay." And both of them went on to the NFL.
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, that's the difference." Right? That's the difference between a good high school athlete or a great high school athlete and a phenomenal high school athlete that ends up making it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's levels, and you go like a LeBron James, literally from senior year straight into the NBA, no college, no nothing. That'd be like a kid here playing football, right? Mm-hmm. And going from senior year of high school football directly into the NFL, he'd get murdered.
Yeah.
He'd get murdered.
Yeah.
There's the years of development you miss, but LeBron being able to go from high school straight to the NBA and freaking dominate.
Now, obviously, we're talking about like difference of physicality, because obviously NFL, you're talking about like the average. You're talking about like monsters of men. I mean, they're just beasts.
I was hanging out with one. I was hanging out with one of the Jaguar defensive ends like 2 weekends ago at an HTX range day. He came by, Big Xander. This guy came up to me, kind of startled me, right? I'm like, "Hey, man!" I turn around, I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" Right? I'm not a small guy,
right?
I'm 6 foot 240.
Yeah,
I'm a bigger human.
Yeah.
I was like, "What is going on?" Shook his hand, and the first thought that went to my head is, we're two totally separate species.
Yeah, it probably was like twice the size of your hand.
It was obnoxious.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and was like, "Oh man, I'm so glad I didn't play football for a living."
Yeah, like I look at guys like that and like, man, like what did my parents do wrong? Like they like what did they not give me?
Terrible genetics.
Yeah,
I guess. Like,
horrible.
I know. Like my dad, I got lucky. I got my dad's like 5'7".
Yeah.
Right? And my brother on my dad's side is like 5'8". Right. So my dad tells me all the time, he goes, "I'm not even sure you're mine." Because everybody on my dad's side is short. I ended up tall. Well, my mom is like 5'10". My uncles are all 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". Right? And I'm looking at them like, looking at my dad, "You fucked this up for me."
Yeah.
If you weren't 5'8", I would end up like these animals, right? I could be somewhere.
Yeah.
Now I'm shooting guns for a living.
Dude, that's why I tell like my best friend, his dad, I want to say his dad 6'2", 6'4". He's the oldest of 4 siblings. So he has 2 younger brothers and a sister. Now, his sister's like 5 foot tall. Yeah. She's tiny. His mom is like 5 foot tall. But his dad was like 6'2", 6'4", something like that. His other 2 brothers, the other 2 siblings, are literally 6'1", 6'3". They're fucking huge, human beings. And he's 5'8".
So screwed.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God. But normally you'd think it like would go the other direction. Like they just, by the time they got to the 4th child, like they ran out of the good genes.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, you were first. Oh, like you were the practice run. Like you're that, that piece of paper that you turn the printer on when you first, and it's got to run through that like code of everything. Yeah. And like, I was like, that was you, buddy. Yeah. I was like,
the test.
Exactly. You're the test page, and your brothers were like the full
product.
Yeah.
They got all the good shit.
Right. But yeah, dude, and I do like look at like people like Quentin, man, dude, like a phenomenal example of a human being, like a like how does someone like that, like the genetics that goes into a human being like that, it's just amazing.
There's so much. It's funny. I work out with the guy every day.
Yeah.
Right. And he complains all the time. Right. He's like, "God, dude, if I could just put on X amount of weight, I'd be happy." And I'm looking at him. I'm saying, "Dude, you're peak bulk right now. Peak bulk." I said, "Why don't we go find out what your body fat percentage was?" It was 6.6.
Right.
Peak bulk. He's supposed to be heavy right now, full of fat, everything, and he's 6.6% body fat.
Yeah.
I was like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah. Like yeah.
Built like perfect physique, right?
Like he's like you don't want to go to a pool anywhere near him.
No.
No, you don't want to be near him because it's embarrassing.
He keeps saying like, "Oh, dude, me and my wife and you and your wife need to get together." I don't want my wife to see you. You know what I mean? She's got to still want to have sex with me. You know?
I don't want to imagine that when I'm on top of my wife, she's thinking about you.
Yeah, because if she screams Quentin, I'm never talking to you again. Like, we can't be friends anymore. You know what I mean?
She's not allowed to go anywhere near you.
No, not at all. Not at all. Can't happen.
Yeah, we like it was really funny, man. We all went at a big, I think it was a Christmas party a couple years ago, and my best friend, it was Quentin was there and Rob. It was actually at Rob's house.
Yeah.
And like all of these guys, and we're all friends with Quentin, but everybody was like, they would like tell their girlfriends or wives, you're not allowed to go over there.
Yeah.
Like you stay away from him.
Yeah.
Like he's going to ruin it for the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not supposed to see what perfection is. Continue to look at all of this bullshit right here.
Listen, dude, I'm a perfectly heterosexual male. That's a good-looking dude.
It's very
good
looking.
I said, hey, dude, if this bodybuilding shit don't work out,
yeah,
like I'm sure you could get a contract modeling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's somebody who's gonna pay you to wear their shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah,
I have friends of mine that I went to high school with.
Yeah,
that are models. Right?
Yeah,
and successful models. I won't take anything away from them. I mean, they make a good amount of money.
Sure.
And they're not that good looking. Right?
When I had him on the show, man, I made the post, and I put it up on there and had him on there. I'm like, look, I don't care how gay this sounds. This is a good looking man. Yeah. It's a beautiful individual right here, dude. I was like, he is, but it's one of those things too. And I was teasing him about him. Like, I hope you go bald. Like, I hope you lose all your fucking hair.
The universe has got to bring it back around.
Balance it out, man, because there's no way that you should be allowed to walk around on Earth with all of this.
Yep.
Give some of this shit back to the rest of us, okay?
Dude, those people exist, man.
Like you're already 6 foot tall. You're tall. Great. You know, you've eliminated the rest of us out of that group, right? Yeah. You've got a great physique, and you got good fucking hair, dude. No, fuck you. You're gonna go bald. I hoped it on him. I said, I hope you do so many drugs that you fucking lose your hair.
I know, man. When we first started becoming like really good friends, right? I was like, dude, I hope you have a little dick. and then I stood next to him at the urinal and was like, fuck.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. It's not fair. You gotta have a club foot or something.
Right. Well, you know, have you met his wife? You've met his wife, okay? And she's a little tiny thing.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
And so when I met her the first time, that's the very first thing I said. I said, even if you had a modest sized penis, I said you're close to being classified as a midget.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be like Shaquille.
It's gonna feel huge.
Yeah. So I was like, God, it's not fair.
Yeah.
I have a really good friend of mine who's an amazing golfer, like PGA level golfer. He was an instructor for several years. He just didn't care about going and doing the tour and everything. Man, he's like 6'3", 6'4", good looking guy. You know, speaks well. You know, great mannerisms and everything. And now he's going bald. And every time I see him, I just fucking revel in it. I was like, it couldn't, I tell him, I said, it couldn't have happened to a better person. Like, you could not have satisfied my inner, like insecurities anymore by you being the one going bald. You make me feel so good. Like, and I'm like, hey, look, I got a shitload of hair. Yeah, I got a great head of hair, but I'm fucking short and fat. So I'm like, okay.
I wouldn't say fat.
Well, I feel fat. Like, I'm 5'9". I'm 5'9". But I'm like 205 pounds right now, just because I lift so heavy and I love to eat. Yeah. So I refuse to like lean out at this point.
I'm trying to lean out. I'm leaning out a lot, but got a long way to go.
So what's your goal? Like you're doing with Quentin? Is it just for general like physicality? Or are you trying to improve with your sport?
So purely to improve in my sport. Okay. Right.
Like mobility.
Purely mobility and explosion. So if I showed you, hold on, let me show you a picture real quick. So long story short,
you'll have to send this to me so I can put it up on the screen.
Yeah. So let me send this to you real quick. Come on, albums. iPhones confuse the shit out of me. Yeah, so let me send this to you on your Instagram. There you go. So this is what I look like when I was in peak football condition, right? Coming out of college.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm about 247 here, lean, probably sitting at about 8 or 9% body fat.
Gotcha. Okay. Is that your wife?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude. You gotta like.
I outkicked the fuck out of my coverage. Okay, I understand that. I got
Yeah.
her when she was really young and really stupid.
Like you trapped her.
Really young and really
Jeez, like
stupid.
you, like it looks like you got like you. She looks like you married one of the damn Kardashians, dude.
Yeah, so my wife was a pretty...
But better looking than that.
Yeah, my wife was... now she's an extremely accomplished realtor. I mean, she's one of the top realtors in Houston. But when we were going through, you know, college and everything, she was a very well-accomplished model. Like, she's been on Corvette magazine and shit like that.
Jesus, man.
But we met when we were 15.
Oh, wow.
You know? And back then,
Out in Katy?
Yeah, no, Tomball. Here,
Oh, okay.
You know?
All right.
I live in Katy now.
Okay.
But, you know... Back then, I didn't look like a total hunk of shit. I was actually kind of good looking. You know what I mean? I fooled her, right? And but I got her when she was young and dumb, and didn't treat her like a dick. And here we are. You know, 12 years later, it is what it is. So yeah, it makes zero sense. You know, I bring her to company functions, or like I take her to range days and shit, or go. She shows up to like nationals, and people, that's your wife? Yeah. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, like
how much
like...
you paying her? Not enough,
dude. You're just packing it, dude, man. It's
no. Listen, there's the, you know, I'm funny. That's my thing. You know, I got a good personality.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I'm not doing bad in the dick department. But.
Yeah, I saw something the other day. It said, "Hey, y'all, how's your summer bodies coming along? I have a great personality."
Yeah.
That's about what that's what I go with. I'm like, you know, hey, no, I can hold a conversation well because everything else just sucks, you know.
Yeah, see, the big problem is she's aging like wine, and I'm aging like milk. So. I don't know how much longer she's gonna hang around, but you know she seems to do well.
Just get locking a couple more kids, man.
Yeah, exactly, right. That's what we're trying to do right now.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You were ripped up, man.
I was in great shape. I mean, I was a hell of an athlete. You know, I ran a 4.4 840. I mean, I was peak athleticism. And then you get out of that and you start working. And I was in sales in the oil field for a long time. You get complacent, get married, working 100 hours a week in the oil field and eating like shit at gas stations. I started I held it on for a long time. Like I stayed in pretty good shape, and then I was involved in a car accident. I got hit by an 18-wheeler on my driver door in 2016.
Walmart?
No, I wish.
Shit.
Little sand truck company out of West Texas. I didn't
bullshit.
Dick out of them. They weren't worth nothing.
Horrible insurance.
Plus, they got all independent drivers, so it was a whole deal. Those guys are smart with covering.
Fucking, thank God, hey, Tracy McGrady fucking lucked out on that one.
I know. God, I wish it would have been.
Or no, sorry, Morgan. Tracy Morgan.
Yeah. If it had been a UPS truck, dude, we'd be doing this on my yacht. But anyway, I ended up. I got 2 bulging discs in my back, my lower 2 discs, and then my sciatic after the accident, like a month later, was at like 20%.
Oh wow!
So it was bad. So I ended up going through a shit ton of rehab and everything, and they said, no weight on your back whatsoever. Like you even holding heavy weight is just not an option.
Yeah.
So I didn't work out for like a year and a half, let myself go, right? And just never really regained it. And then finally, it was a combination of, I got into shooting. So then just being as active as I was, I dropped a little bit of weight, but at one point I was up to like 285.
Holy cow.
That's fat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was not, I'm a little more muscular now. Like I've got some arms on me, but it was not the case before, you know what I mean? So
I don't think I've had anybody. I've done like, almost 100 shows, and not yet has one person flexed into the camera.
Right? Oh, what's up, baby? No, but it was not the case, right? I've put on, so since I've been working out with Quentin, I've put on like 17 pounds of muscle and lost almost 20 pounds in fat.
Yeah.
So it's like really, so my weight is kind of here. Like I've lost a little bit of weight, but like the muscle to fat ratio is taking a huge dive. But
yeah.
Anyway, it was a combination of the marksmanship side of what I do. I'm about as tapped out, not as tapped out as you get, because you always get better, right? But sure. I'm not losing because of my marksmanship. I'm losing because the guys who I'm competing against, the Christian Seilers, JJs, Casey Eusebios, they're all in peak physical condition. Like these guys are flag poling and doing sideways push-ups type physical condition, right? I mean, they're freak athletes, and I'm hanging with them as a fat guy. So I spent the last off season really kind of contemplating, if I'm going to really take a run at this, I got to take it 100% serious. That, and my wife, you know, my wife is the sweetest person you ever met, but she is a no bullshit person. And she said, honey, I love you, but you're fat. You're over here complaining why you're not beating these guys, but you're fat.
Yeah.
Is what it is. She's like, I love you. I'm still attracted to you, but you're fucking fat. I was like, okay, noted. So I told her, I said, listen, I'm hiring a personal trainer, right? I found Quentin, and here we go. Now here we are. You know, I'm getting back where I want to be. I'm still not there, right? I'd like to be floating around the 10 to 13% body fat range, and probably around 225, right? I'll never be under 200 pounds. My frame's just not built that way.
Yeah.
I haven't been under 200 pounds since my sophomore year, because I powerlifted all through high school. I actually won a lot of state championships in powerlifting. And my sophomore year, I competed in 185, and then I went to 205 in junior year. So I've never been below that, and I was having to cut a lot of weight to get there. You know, it's just not my frame is not built for that weight. So, but that was the only reason. You know, that was the main driver. So when I met Quentin, you know, he said, "Why are you doing this? Do you just want to lose weight? You know, do you want to look good with a shirt off, or are you trying to be a better athlete?" It's purely athletics. That's it. If I don't look like you with my shirt off, which is probably never going to happen because I just don't have those genetics.
Right.
Even when I was I was in sick shape. Like,
how do you have 12 abs?
This is just not a thing. It's not my go. Like I had a nice 6-pack.
Yeah.
Right. But if I'd have tried to get a 12-pack, my fucking ribs would have exploded. Right. Like it's just not happening. So that's been the main driver, and it's working, man. Like I've shot, 2 big matches this year. I didn't come away with the result that I wanted in both of them, but that was so the first one being Area 6, I was shooting really well. I was moving so well, and then I got disqualified, and
PEDs.
Yeah.
Were you juicing?
PEDs, yeah. So no, I broke a safety rule.
Okay.
I've never been disqualified, right? It's just something that has never happened to me, and it's rare that it happens. It's not rare that it happens to a high level shooter, because we're pushing so close to the edge, right? Sometimes you lose you're so focused on what's happening in front of you and what's happening with your feet and everything else, right? You lose where you're at in certain positions. So I did what's called breaking the 180, right? So like if this is downrange, you're not allowed to point your muzzle past 180 degrees, right? And I broke it by like maybe a degree. I mean, it was so close. I mean, the guy could have not even done it.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't a high level shooter, I don't think he would have.
Yeah.
Right?
Like you just like, it's like a cop, you know, you're going to suffer more harsh punishment because like,
exactly.
should have known better. Kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But I broke it. I broke it on the second to last stage. But prior to that, I was shooting phenomenally. I was super happy. So I accomplished what I wanted to do. Right in the beginning of the year, I shoot 5 or 6 matches that are the only reason I'm there. I don't care if I win them or lose them. Right. What I'm there to do is collect data, because the big matches at the end of the year are the ones that I have to win. Right. Nationals, area matches. Big United States national matches, overseas matches. The ones in the beginning of the year are what I call fluffer matches.
Yeah.
It's purely to collect data, right? It's like going to small shows to qualify for the Olympia. You know what I mean? You don't have to be in your best shape.
Right. You just got to beat the weekend warrior kind of thing.
Exactly, right? So, and then this last one that I did, I shot extremely well. I didn't win, but I didn't do bad either, right? I shot against a guy named Tom Castro, who's a monster out of Florida.
Okay.
And he's recently hit another gear. So it's funny, right? Because you've got the upper echelon of shooters, right? The national and world champions. And then under them, you have guys like me, right? Who haven't won a nationals yet, but if we show up, we're fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Right? And then you've got, phenomenal shooters under us, and then great shooters, and then you've got good shooters, and then you got your weekend warriors, right? Tom was one of us, right? Still hasn't won a national or anything, but he hit another gear this year. Just somewhere in his off season, something clicked, and he's off to the races. Because I beat him before. Like he's a good shooter, but something clicked. And
Now, is the whole thing time? It's all about time?
so the way it works,
Time and accuracy, I guess?
Yeah, the way it works is you'll have an array of stages, right? And you'll have, say there's 12 targets, right? So those 12 targets, they have a scoring zone. So you have the center section, which is your alpha zone, then your Charlie zone, your delta zone. Each one is worth a certain amount of points, 5, 3, 1.
Okay.
Right? So it's how many points can you collect on the stage in the fastest amount of time. So it's points divided by time, right? So if you're super duper fast but shoot shitty points, you're going to get crushed. And if you shoot good points but you're not fast, you're going to get crushed, right? And most of the time in these stages, like nationals, the top 20 guys, like we're separated by 6 points on a stage, right? Maybe, right? We're playing in milliseconds, right?
Yeah, you're wiggling way down time.
One guy may shoot it in 12.58 and win the stage, and second place is going to be 12.78, and then from there the 20th place guy is going to be 13.2, right? We're all so close. I mean, it's like racing cars, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's so fast, right? But it's just, can you make the least amount of mistakes, collect the most amount of points in the fastest amount of time? That's it, right? So it's as high level marksmanship as you could possibly get. In my opinion, USPSA and IPSC is the pinnacle of marksmanship in the world. Like, you could take a high level USPSA shooter or IPSC shooter and put them in any other shooting discipline and give them 2 months, and they'll beat the fuck out of everybody.
Are you talking about like any competition here in the U.S.? You're talking about like worldwide?
I'm talking about worldwide, because you have USPSA, which is United States Practical Shooting, and then you have IPSC, which is International Practical Shooting Association.
Okay. Because I was looking at, I saw there's
practical shooting sports.
There was one called practical competition or practical shooting competition or PCSL or something like that.
Yeah,
or PSC.
PCSL or PSCL.
PSCL, that's what it is.
PSCL, so that's a different animal of its own, right? USPSA and IPSC are kind of like the creme de la creme of marksmen.
Okay.
Right? Now you can there's guys like Jerry Mikulik, right, who are legends, right, who mainly shoot 3-gun. That guy can come over to USPSA and he could do amazing, right, because he's one of the best trigger pullers of all time. But he started mostly in USPSA and then transferred over to 3-gun because that's where the money was.
Okay.
Right? Because he's shooting only for a living, right? So most of us have day jobs.
Yeah.
Because listen, we don't make NFL athlete money.
Right.
Right? It's just not a thing. Because guns are bad.
Yeah.
Right? Back in the 90s and early 2000s, you'd win $100,000 at one of these things, or you'd win a boat or a car, because guns weren't bad back then.
Right.
Right. But nowadays guns are bad. Sponsors are scarce. Unless it's a gun industry partner, you're not getting Busch Light. Right. It's just not happening. Monster Energy is not. In fact, we've reached out to, Monster and Red Bull and all those guys, and they've just said, hey, with the current climate, like, we're not, it's cool shit, but we're not going to lose $1 million to make 100,000. It's just not a thing. Right. So it's terrible. I mean, it's,
man, okay. But where do we go with that? How do you even deal with that? I mean, I guess they're just purely talking about the optics of it.
It's just purely the optics of it.
Because, I mean, you're talking about a sport. It's not like, I mean, you're shooting a metal target.
Paper or metal.
Yeah.
It's either cardboard or paper.
Yeah.
Or cardboard or steel.
It's not like they roughly like some of the metal ones that have like a body, shoulder, and a round head cutout. I mean, rarely does it even look like it's a human, because it might be just a square over here, or it's a rotating kind of target where it's on a spindle or whatever.
And we don't even shoot that type of steel anymore.
Really?
We don't shoot the body. Now we shoot body paper, right?
Yeah.
But it needs to transition away from that. We have IPSC. So IPSC shoots a target that's kind of shaped, more oval shaped with some hard corners.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So we have the option, but the reason they won't switch is just simply why there's no reason to, right?
Yeah.
If a sponsor came in and said, "Hey, dude, we'll give you $1 million, but you got to switch your target," no fucking problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe is there some part of it where on the organization's side they're kind of like, fuck that, we're not going to change. We're not going to. There's almost a pushback. They're just saying we're not going to give in to the climate.
100%, and that's a big problem. So the issue with it is the organization is ran by the president and the 8 board members. So the U.S. is broke up into, and USPSA is the U.S. version of IPSC.
Okay.
it started in the U.S. Practical shooting started in the U.S. and then it was IPSC, and then when IPSC expanded all the way, USPSA wanted to be different and start their own thing. That's an off branch, right?
Okay.
So you have 8 areas. The U.S. is broken up into 8 areas. Each area has a board member, an area director who represents that area. Now those 8 board members and the president are who run the organization, right? So the average age is like 70 fucking years old.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's,
Yeah.
you don't have any young, because there's a lot of us who are like, listen, guys, like if you went to the USPSA social media page, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Right? It's terrible.
Yeah, I
right?
went and looked at it.
Yeah, you saw it. It's awful.
Yeah.
Right? And what we're doing
Looks like something I created back in high school.
Exactly. What we're doing is awesome,
Mhm.
right? Everyone who I show it to is, Jesus, that's kick-ass.
Yeah.
And there's a way to do it and make it optically appealing to sponsors, right?
Mhm.
Change the targets. The scoring system could be a little bit simpler, right, to understand. It's pretty simple right now if you just had just a diagram that shows you it. But
time divided by
Yep.
points,
Yeah.
or points divided by
points
time.
divided by time. Super
Yeah.
simple. How accurate are you versus how fast are you?
Yeah.
Right. It's super simple to get, right? And we're making a big push now. Like we're pushing for live streamed events and put it behind a paywall and make it like a streamed event. Because if fucking cornhole can be on ESPN, I'm sure that there's people who, I mean, how many gun owners are there in the U.S.?
Oh, I know.
Fucking millions.
I think, okay, well, number one, I think if you, 2 different statistics. American citizens account for the largest standing army to ever exist
100%.
on Earth, ever.
Yeah, it's the largest free militia in
Ever.
existence.
Yeah. And then there's something, it's something to the number of almost 10 to 1 guns in the United States for every citizen.
Mhm.
And that's not just adults, that's every citizen.
Every citizen.
So you're going on somewhere close to 3.5 billion guns. God bless it.
And the problem is
That's why
right?
no one will ever fucking step foot on our soil.
No. We'll
man.
never. Nobody has the nuts or the military to invade the U.S.
No.
It'll never happen.
Yeah.
But the issue that we fight in, shooting sports, is it's all about optics. And nowadays, I mean, it's the gun hating people
Yeah.
who are the loudest, right? So,
But I would imagine, like on an international stage, you guys probably deal with the fact that it's like a luxury sport.
oh, dude, it's massive overseas.
Yeah, but
massive.
it's only dealt. I have to imagine it's not like your average
No,
person.
no, no,
like
no,
no
no.
one's working a regular day job over there in
No,
Europe.
no.
It's probably it's,
They are, right, but they're not doing it at a high level.
Yeah.
Right. It's expensive to do this sport at a high level. To do it
Yeah.
as a weekend warrior, it's not bad. Dude,
Well-
grab your Glock, buy a couple hundred rounds at your local academy, and get a fucking Serpa holster, show up, have fun.
yeah, but you just hit the like right now. Buy a couple hundred rounds.
Oh yeah, it's expensive. Now,
Exactly.
Right.
Like what like the dent. I mean, I'm just watching you guys practice. I'm watching you guys fire off stuff just for videos and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. You just burnt $25.
I shot 98,000 rounds last year, in practice alone, just practice.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
No wonder we can't go to Academy and buy any ammo.
Well, I load all my own.
Oh, you've got your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a commercial reloading press, and
Okay.
so I get all my components for free. I'm not gonna act like I went out and bought them. I didn't pay for it, right? But I put the time in to make it. But I have the only way to be able to do this at the level that I have is to either have an ammo sponsor, a full-blown ammo sponsor like Remington or someone like that that's willing to drop ship you crates of, pallets of ammo, which some people have that luxury. There's 4 or 5 guys who have that luxury, but they've had those relationships for 20 years.
I'd imagine you have to have a pretty high, you'd have to have to have that. Would you have to get something like from the ATF? Like, would you have to be certified, like level 3, any of that stuff?
Dude, I had 195 pounds of powder drop shipped to my house the other day. Yeah, nobody said shit. They left it on my front porch.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, a big ass pallet with explosive stickers.
Your
everywhere.
name has to be all through
Oh,
through
dude,
the government.
I'm sure. They're
Like
listening right
nonstop.
now, dude.
It's
My
nonstop.
FBI agent is listening to you right now. I swear to God, he's on here. What's up, Fred?
Yeah,
Whatever
God.
his name is. I mean, I'm definitely on the list.
Yeah, like
I'm
I could
sure.
imagine, like you just you order off Amazon?
No. My sponsors just sent it to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
All right. But still, well, okay. So the sponsor, they're a manufacturer of it.
They're a manufacturer.
So-
Shooters
so-
World, Shooters World Powder
Okay.
is who sponsors me for powder. They send me my powder, right? Shell Shock Technology sends me my cases.
Okay.
PC Bullets sends me the bullets, and then CCI sends me the primers.
Okay.
Right? And I just put them all together.
So I'm imagining, like with all of those guys, they're the manufacturers. They maintain the high level licensing,
Oh yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so when they certify, ship it to you, you've already in order to get your first shipment. I'm going to assume to even get involved in the sport, was there some type of background check you guys had to go through? Nothing.
If you can own a gun, you're not a felon.
So legally owning the gun is the
Legally
only
owning the gun
requirement.
is the only requirement. You don't even have to legally own the gun. I'm sure there's people who are shooting.
As long as you're not illegally possessing it.
yeah, I mean, there's no way of checking that, right?
So they don't do any of that with you guys.
No, you show up, you pay your fee, you sign up, right, and just follow the rules.
Now, do you think, obviously, that
Now, if you show up and you're shooting a match and you say, "Oh, hey, by the way, I fucking murdered 15 people in the 90s," I'm sure somebody's gonna make a phone call.
yeah,
Right?
but I mean, like, okay, so if you take that and you say, all right, well, you got this organization that really isn't evolving. They're not making the changes to keep
Not
up
at
with the
all.
times, but you're also looking at an industry that needs to get money and things like that. Well, it's obviously it's not preferable for people, gun owners, things like that, to want to register, to be more in databases, things like that. Do you think that it would help you guys if you were able to put it out there to say, okay, well, look, everybody that we're bringing in is this? Because, for example, speed skating. Okay, roller sports now. Roller sports, USA Roller Sports is a huge organization. Same exact problem you've got is all of the people that are up top were all the old rink owners, and they were all figure skaters that knew nothing about fucking speed skating.
Yeah.
And so the Olympics kept coming in saying, hey, we want you guys in, but we only want speed skating because no one else gave a fuck about the other stuff. So they came in and said, well, no, you got to take it all or nothing. You got to take the figure skating and all this other bullshit. It was roller sports at the time. And so anyway, what they ended up doing is now you have like world organizations. You had USA Roller Sports. Now there's World Roller Sports and FIRS, Federation of International like Roller Sports and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they came up with this thing now that is across all sports. It's called Safe Sport.
Okay.
And it started out mostly because of sexual assaults from coaches to young girls and things like that. That's mostly where it was.
Yeah.
They should institute something like that in the Catholic Church. I don't know, but
Dude, that's their longest running pastime is sexual
yeah.
assault, honestly, you know what? I think you cannot be a high level Catholic without sexually assaulting somebody. I think I read that was somewhere.
Did you read it somewhere?
Yeah,
Is that the level you
when
have
you
to
open
pass
the
through?
pamphlet, right? When you open the pamphlet, it's like, can you be a priest? It says 3 things.
At priest school, you have the.
It says 3 things. It says, do you believe in God? Check.
Yeah.
Do you look like a sex offender? Check. And are you a sex offender? Check.
Have you yet, or are you willing to sexually assault a child?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So we know that topic's not funny, but yeah, the church is fucking bad about that shit.
Yeah.
But
I have some friends, overseas that are diehard Catholics.
yeah.
And my favorite thing is to make Catholic priest jokes to them.
Oh, I love it.
Jokes and watch them just grin. And just get so pissed off.
Being Jewish, I have a lot of Catholic friends.
Yeah.
And so, like, of course, they'll shoot. My friends will say some shit to me about, oh, well, you guys own the media and blah blah. You go to the banks. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, but we're not fucking putting our fingers in kids' asses.
Yeah. I'm trying to be careful because this resembles like Jingle and Change. I don't want you to jump across the table.
I hear the sound of money.
Yeah. What's that? This sounds like about $1.86.
That's right. I will go to town for $1.75.
That's one of the greatest cinematic scenes of all time is Harold and Kumar when he dumps all the pennies. And the guy's like, is that about $1.87?
Oh, yeah. But anyway, so Safe Sport. It's this thing where pretty much all the athletes, all the coaches, all the affiliates have to go through this
background check.
Yeah, and you have to adhere to certain standards, and you have to basically renew this certification. every year. As a coach, you have to redo it every single year. As a competitor, it's like every 2 years. As like an affiliate of some kind, I don't know how the fuck that would. You're either a coach or a skater. I guess maybe the referees. If you're just a referee or something like that, you have to do it every 3 years. I might be more worried about the referees, personally. Some of those guys. But if you guys went to something like that, where it was more of a unified kind of like thought process, where people, okay, well, at least we're trying to bring the sport into modern. No, fuck that. You don't want that in that sport.
So it'll never happen.
Yeah.
So here's why.
You don't want that. Yeah.
You have 50% of the population who's like stricter, everything. Gun laws, background checks, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
You got 50% of the population that thinks it's a constitutional infringement.
Right.
Right. So if we brought that in to try to appease one half, we'd piss off the other half. Right.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: if you show up to shoot a firearms match and you're not allowed to own a firearm,
Mm-hmm.
you're an idiot.
Well, but the thing is there's the people that say you shouldn't, like, guns are bad. It doesn't matter what you do. They're gonna say
People are bad.
yeah. They're gonna say, hey, you shouldn't have a fucking gun anyway, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't
So
matter
it doesn't
what
matter.
you do.
Exactly.
There's-
Here's the thing: people are bad.
Yes.
Guns aren't bad. Listen, guns are a tool. I could literally, if I really wanted to, assault you with this glass right here.
Absolutely.
This is if I hit you with it, it's an assault glass.
Yeah.
Right. But
But can we cash in the bullets first?
yeah, for sure. But here's the thing: I've got a lot of guns on me most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Like I have an AR in my truck, and that
Right.
doesn't stand for assault rifle, people. That stands for Armor Light Rifle 15th iteration.
It really drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's not an assault rifle.
To have
Until
that
it assaults
conversation.
you, it's not an assault rifle.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Well, actually, is it really assaulting somebody or protecting me?
Exactly. Here's what people don't understand, and this is my favorite part of statistical analysis when it comes to gun laws, right?
Mhm.
Is if you take the 40, well, I don't know, COVID dropped these numbers, but I use 2019 as an example, the year before COVID, right? The 43,000 and some change gun deaths, right? If you remove
Worldwide or in the United States?
United States,
Okay.
I could give a fuck about what's happening overseas because half those people don't have freedom anyway.
Right.
Fuck them. Right. So in the U.S., it's just not my concern. Right. Typical
Fuck
American
'em.
asshole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em, right. Get some freedom. You should
Right.
have fought England like we did.
Right.
And
Grow some fucking balls.
Yeah. If you take the 40 some odd thousand gun deaths, right, and I don't know the exact number, I could fucking Google it, and I used to know all that shit, but it's been, I don't talk to people who I have to argue with a lot in my sport, right?
Yeah. Thank God, right?
Yeah. If you take away suicides, right, that leaves about 14,000 gun deaths.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 2/3 of all gun deaths are
Or
suicide.
right? Which look up suicide by hanging, suicide by jumping off a bridge, right? The numbers are astronomical.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Suicide by cop is ridiculous.
It's big.
Suicide by running into traffic, right? Just if you take away suicides, it leaves about 14,000, right, and some change. If you take away gang violence,
Mm-hmm.
right, it reduces to about 1,400, right? Out of that 1,400, 87% of it is accidental.
Someone cleaning their gun.
Yeah, someone cleaning their gun or something, right? Or
Well, you mean you saw that shit like in Chicago where it was declared mutual combat?
yeah.
Like, how the fuck? Like, people want to make fun of Texas, right? Because, like, we have some backwards laws, like you can't buy alcohol before like noon. Apparently there's a rule on the book like you couldn't shoot a deer from the second story of the courthouse and shit like that. You can't buy a fucking car on a Sunday.
Can't have a pig in a bathtub in Florida.
Right. Like they think of the South as having fucked up laws. But you literally had hundreds of rounds being fired in the streets of Chicago with like 14 people shot, something like that.
Mutual combat.
And they called it mutual combat. It literally sounds like it was something out of the fucking medieval times. Mutual combat, you literally have people that are being shot. But I guess that was the difference. No innocent bystanders were killed.
So here's where you look at it, right? Say 1,000 people are killed by guns a year, right? 1,000 people, which is a lot. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right. There's a substantial amount of people who are killed with a hammer over that number.
More people are stabbed.
Oh my God, dude.
More people are stabbed to death.
Stabbings are ridiculous. The numbers are crazy. Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's what they don't tell you. According to the ATF and the CDC, it's estimated that between 500,000 to 700,000 potential assaults, 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 700,000 pot or crimes are prevented every year because of possessing a firearm.
Legal gun owners.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if 1,000 people are dying, but 500,000 to 800 or 900,000 people are saving their lives or that of their family.
Well, think about that church that was here in Texas.
Yeah.
That
I met that
guy barges in,
Yeah,
and then and how many people inside that church were armed?
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Or not armed. There were a couple dozen people.
Yeah, there's a couple
inside that
dozen,
church,
but
right?
there was
hundreds of people in there.
But there was between those 12 or 14 people that were armed, there was over 100 rounds in magazines that were ready to be fired.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, yeah, like you just saved 200 people by taking out one dumb motherfucker.
You want to hear something funny? If you take the U.S. gun deaths, I forget the number. We're in the top 5, right, in the world in gun deaths, right?
Sure.
If you remove Los Angeles County, New York City County, the county of New York City, right, and Chicago,
right,
we drop to like 147th.
Yeah.
3 counties, which are the most liberal counties in the world.
Absolutely.
Right? Have the strictest gun laws. Right? In the U.S., not in the world. There's strict gun laws in the world. But the 3 strictest gun law counties in the U.S., if you take those 3 and you get rid of them, we go so far down in gun deaths, it's unreal, right? But nobody talks about that. But here's the funny part, right? What does that tell you? It tells you that these criminals are fucking cowards for the most part, right? They want an easy fight. They don't want a hard fight. So if you know everybody's packing, right? Try robbing somebody in fucking Texas. I dare you.
Right.
It's a crapshoot, dude.
Yeah.
You got to be a ballsy son of a bitch. Because I'm going to tell you right now, even grandmas pack around this son of a bitch. You might run into a 15-year-old who's going to pull out a knife and stab you in the throat. Yeah. Right? You just don't know.
Everybody grows up hunting and everything here. Like we grow up like that.
Yeah. So, the odds of crime happening here versus there, right? There's crime that happens. But it's petty crime. It's not.
Yeah, but see that, and that's the crazy part. What people don't look at, it's like you go like to the COVID statistics and all this other stuff, and when you really start breaking it down, it's like if you're looking at the numbers, okay, even if we are in the top 5 in the world for gun deaths, we are the 3rd most populated country in the world.
Exactly.
It's to be expected.
And we have all the guns.
Okay, yeah.
There's more guns and collections in Texas than there is in the other 17 countries, militaries combined.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that not fucking nuts?
It's insane.
Yeah.
And you so
of course more people die from guns.
Of course it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Look how many people die of stabbings in the UK.
Right.
They outlawed guns. Crime rate went through the fucking roof.
Right. But it's like COVID when they started talking about the statistics of the people and the age and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, we have one of the oldest populations in the world because we have one of the longest lifespans in the world.
Yep.
What's the COVID affecting? It's affecting the elderly population. Yeah. So, of course, our fucking death rates are going to go through the roof because we've got a lot of fucking old people that are living long lives here.
Yeah, but what a lot of people don't talk about with the COVID stuff is a lot of those deaths are so inflammatory.
Oh, of course.
Statistics. Here's what people don't understand. Hospitals during COVID, if
big money.
Here's the thing. If I own a hospital, right? If somebody walks in my hospital and they're treated for COVID, the government paid me $14,000.
Yep.
Now, if somebody comes in my hospital and they die of COVID, the government paid me $54,000. So wouldn't it be beneficial for me if I wanted to cash in on a pandemic and say, hey, I don't know how long it's going to last, but I have an opportunity to make a fuck ton of money. Dude. I gotta sway my morals, right? But if I've got somebody dying of fucking cancer, I'll throw COVID on there. Hey, they tested for COVID. They tested positive for COVID.
You want to know?
And guess what? $54,000 in my bank account.
But what he and I personal experience. My father went to the hospital January 1 of 21. Pneumonia. Came back, pneumonia. They came back 20 minutes later. Oh, you're also positive for COVID.
Oh, of course. They wanted that check.
He had fucking pneumonia.
Yeah,
okay.
Pneumonia.
Now, he went in, ended up beating pneumonia, ended up beating COVID, was recovering from both of them, got a blood clot, bounced around, fucked up his lungs.
Yeah.
Ended up dying February 19th. Dude, they still put on he hadn't had COVID for 2 weeks.
Died of COVID.
And they put on their COVID-related death. Well, the hospital gets fucking paid.
Yeah, $54,000.
Absolutely, man.
Sorry for your loss, dude. That sucks.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, it's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't see him. I got him downstairs. I should have him up here on the show, man. I feel kind of weird about bringing him up here, but
yeah.
you were actually standing right in front of him.
Was I really?
Yeah, you were standing right in front of him.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, as you were literally standing right in front of him.
Dude,
downstairs.
You gotta get him somewhere up here.
Well, I tell you what. Hey, how about this? We'll take a break. Go pee. Okay. We'll go pee. Take a piss break. And I will go get him. We'll bring him up here. We'll have fucking Dad on the show for the rest of the show.
Let's do it.
He loves fun. You'll trip out when you see him. He loves guns in America.
I love it.
So all right.
I mean, that's a badass urn.
Yeah, dude. Dad. My dad.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm glad you don't think it's weird. So
No.
dude, I'm so attached to my father, and I've become, I think personally, on so many levels, become so much closer with him after he passed away, because I think that, my dad came from a different generation, and actually I was talking to Elliot, a guy I was telling you about earlier. He was on here last week, and my dad comes from a generation where his father had a nervous breakdown. So he was literally raised in a home where there wasn't a man there, and he didn't know what that loving father affection was. And my dad was a great dad. I mean, my parents were married for 44 years. This last November would have been 44 years. It's amazing, right? It's even unheard of in today's age. Yeah. So, like, you're probably wanting to fucking kill yourself after 12 years at this point, right?
Dude, honestly, it's felt like 10 minutes underwater.
Yeah. You're being boarded. Yeah, but so... My parents were amazing, but my dad didn't come from this environment where he had like this really strong, male figure in his life that was there every single day and stuff like that. But my dad was a good father, amazing provider. He was good to me and my sister. He was great to my mom. I mean, put it this way. So my father was in the hospital, had recovered from COVID and pneumonia. They were putting him on the transplant list to get lung transplants because the blood clot.
Yeah.
So they needed to send him off to like a rehab facility to start, like, I guess like the process for the lung transplant shit was like, you have to go through this rehab where they've got to like, see if you can recover. Like they have to be able to document and prove that you just whatever. So they sent him to this like breathing treatment facility somewhere in Conroe. And him and I, we were texting on the 12th of February all the way to about 11 o'clock at night. And the next morning, Saturday, I'm leaving a job site on the far south side of Houston. And my mom calls me, like literally like right as my foot steps off the person's driveway. My mom calls me and she's like, hey, they've had to rush your father to Conroe Regional Hospital. He stopped breathing. They revived him, but they had to put him on a fucking ventilator.
Yeah, ventilator, yeah.
Medically induced coma that he never recovered from.
Yeah.
But that's the 13th. That's Saturday. So, I emphasize this and I say this, like, this is the kind of man that I want to be. Like, I am, like, everything that my father, I say this.
Yeah, he's like the embodiment of what you're trying to be as a person. Yeah.
So, my father's in the hospital, keep in mind. He's been in the hospital since January 1, okay? So when my mom calls me and tells me this is February 13th now.
Holy
so
shit,
the day before.
Well over a month.
Yeah. But it's the day before Valentine's Day. So I'm on my way home. I'm coming from the south side of Houston, and my mom calls me. And she's just beside herself. She's crying. I'm like, okay, what happened? I said, is Dad still alive? And she's like, yes, that's not what I'm calling you about. She says, I just had a package delivered out front. Oh, and they lived on Lake Conroe, and they lived in a gated neighborhood where their house had a gate on it.
Yeah.
One of those type places. And so someone had just dropped a box off out front. And so she fucking walks out there. It's February 13th, and it's flowers from my dad.
Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, while he's in the fucking hospital fighting for his life, man, struggling to survive, like, he's thinking about my mom, like the love of his life, dude. Like,
that's nuts, man.
Dude, that's so fucking cool to me.
That's some notebook shit,
dude. But to me, like, I've done some pretty Like, I've done some pretty outrageous, like, manly shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you think about, like, danger and the shit, you
Yeah.
know, overseas, things like that. I've done some pretty gnarly stuff, right?
That's the manly shit.
That's the fucking man stuff right there, man. And it's just, like, man, I think about the way my father was, like the doctors, and I probably bore the fuck out of everybody. I don't care. This is my show. Like, anybody watching this stuff, they're like, God, he's talking about his fucking dad again.
They'll
Like,
fuck themselves.
right, fuck him. But like,
They'll be back.
when my father was in a hospital bed, and so he was at this point, he hadn't beat pneumonia, hadn't beat COVID, and his oxygen levels were really low. Well, when you get your oxygen levels go really low, you start like fucking hallucinating and stuff like that. And so they had him on 100% oxygen, which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
So you're not getting natural oxygen. Now they're pumping oxygen into you, and it's making your thought process even worse.
Yeah, your brain chemistry is all like just crazy right now.
So he's in bed and he doesn't know where the fuck he's at. He starts completely losing it in bed. Like has no recollection where he's at. This is like 4 days before he ends up like testing negative for COVID and pneumonia. And he wakes up in the middle of the night and he's trying to rip all the fucking leads and everything. He's already been there for a month.
Yeah.
And he's ripping all this shit off of him. And all he's asking for is my mom.
That's crazy.
Dude, no fucking idea where he's at. It's like, okay, as a human, as an animal, like, you have basic, like, instincts, basic needs. Number 1, to survive. Like, number 2, eat. Number 2, like, you know, procreate, you know, sex, stuff like that. Like, my father's, like, basic instinct was live and my mom. Like, I want to live, and where's my wife?
That's his comfort zone, man.
Yeah, dude.
That's his comfort zone. That's when you know it's real. You know what I mean? That's when you know it's real, is when that person's your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when everything goes to shit, like, that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
Right? That's the real deal.
So, like, seeing all that stuff, like, and then,
Oh, yeah.
of course, all the, you know, like, I feel, like, my dad, like I said, man, my dad and I were close. It was a weird thing. Growing up, he never traveled with me for sports. He wasn't the kind of father that, you know, it's not like I came home from school and he asked me how I was doing at school. We grew up in a very, you know, in a household where we sat down for dinner. It was the parents' time to talk. We're supposed to be quiet, kind of thing. Yeah. He didn't do homework with us. He wasn't that kind of dad. But when it came to, like, we lived on a ranch, so it was like, I'd go outside. Like, I learned how to drive the tractors. I learned how to, you know, I learned how to work the earth.
Well, that's that generation, man.
Yeah.
That was that generation.
Oh, and they were poor. They were fucking dirt poor. So, of course, he had to work. And so that was his thought process, was instilling. It was like, spare the rod, spoil the child kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was making sure that I was fucking beat into shape. That kind of life. But, dude, just, like, since his death, I honestly feel, and it sucks, you know, being 40 and just now feeling like you've, like, become, like, super close with your father. Like, I feel like I'm 10 times closer with my dad today after he passed than I ever was, because I understand him now.
Yeah. Now you get it.
Yeah. Like, I've actually been able to, like, sit down and contemplate my dad's life and some of the decisions he's made, and kind of, like, you know, you kind of get into this fucking, like, meditational type place where you're just sitting here thinking about all these things, and you're like, man, well, that makes fucking sense. I just thought he was being an asshole.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, that fuck, like, and it's not sympathy. Like, I'm not a light dude. Like, I'm not. Yeah. It's not like I'm not emotional in that way.
Not an emotional
like,
person either, or a sympathetic person.
No, like, I'm okay.
Hard for me.
Yeah, like, I'm okay with crying and shit like that. Like, I don't mind that stuff. Like, I cried when I gave my fucking buddy's speech 2 weeks ago at his wedding.
Yeah.
But, like, I judged my dad pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you motherfucker.
Fuck, yeah. Because you didn't get it. I mean, you didn't get it.
No.
I didn't. Now you do.
I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand his life. I didn't understand a lot of the shit that went down. And
it's a different generation, man. My dad's of that generation. You know, he's a hard dude, iron worker, 55-year iron worker.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, dude. Going into his late 60s. He's a hard dude.
Yeah.
He's a hard dude. He's actually living with me right now. So me and my dad have never been, like, super duper close, right? Like, we've been close, but not like I didn't see my dad much. Him and my mom separated when I was really young, like 1.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And my mom is anyway.
The word Fruit Loop came to my mind, but
Yeah,
I don't want to.
yeah.
I didn't want to.
Yeah. She's I love her to death, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't see my dad much, and now that and then for the last 7 years I've lived in Midland, Texas, right? I just moved back to Katy in 2021.
Yeah.
Mid-February, actually the day after Valentine's Day. Yeah, right. I can't actually. It was Valentine's Day.
So that would have been a Monday. So Sunday was Valentine's Day in 2021.
Okay, yeah. So it was February 13th.
So that's Saturday.
Yeah. I moved here that Saturday, right before the storm hit the freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father passed on the 19th. The freeze happened on the 16th.
Yeah. So, when I moved back here, my dad, his house got fucked up during that freeze, right? And he's by himself. He's been married 5 times. Like, he doesn't do well with women.
Sounds like me.
He just doesn't.
That's
right?
like me.
And I've tried to tell him. Yeah, I mean, for real, I try to tell him, like, Dad, you're a great guy.
I've been married 4 times.
Yeah, and he is. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Right? But he's hard.
Just something wrong. Yeah.
It's just hard. And no offense to him, but the women he picks are fucking nuts.
Hey,
His picker is all the way broken, dog.
Dude, that's what everybody tells me. My mom looks right at me and she says, "You're not allowed to pick your next fucking girlfriend." She's like, "Your picker is broken."
I told my dad, I said, the next one's going through background checks.
Yeah.
She's going through interview processes.
Yeah.
We're pulling her fucking credit score, everything.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, so his house, since then, we've been, I think, it got hammered during the freeze, and he was working on it himself. And then now that I moved back, I helped him. I said, hey, why don't you move into my house, and then we'll get the house, back up. And then he said, fuck it, I'm selling it. I've had the house since 2000. It's a big house. I don't need it. It's just me. I'm going to buy a 5th wheel. I'm going to put that bitch about 2 miles from your house, and when you pop out grandkids, I'll be here. Right? I'm like, all right, bet.
Cool.
And since he's been living with me, me and my dad have gotten so close, right? And now I'm like, I'm starting to get it a little bit. Some of the decisions he made when I was younger, you're just like, what the fuck? And my wife, since he's been living with us,
mm-hmm.
She goes, I understand you better. She goes, I used to watch you do shit. I'm like, why is he doing that? Like,
let me ask you something. Like, okay, from like when your dad, like shit would happen when you were younger.
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever try to explain it to you?
No.
Never. He never tried to explain himself.
No.
He just kind of let it happen.
Oh yeah.
Let it go. Yeah.
Like, for instance, here's a good example, right? And now I know why, right? I have a brother, my dad's first son,
okay.
Right? He grew up with his mom, big house, rich kid, right? Pretty spoiled. I grew up in a trailer, right? Poor as dirt, eating off the government, right? Just broke.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad has owned a construction. He's a one of 4 owners of a small time steel construction company. It's not like they make a lot of money. They don't make a lot of money, right? But he's had a steady job for the last fucking 50 years, whatever.
Yeah.
Old man, old hard ass worker, right? So when my brother went to college, right, he helped pay for the college. When my brother needed a car, he helped pay for the car, right? All that shit. When I needed a car, he said, get a fucking job.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? 3 years ago, you bought this motherfucker a car, right? When I went to college, right, I went for an athletic scholarship at first.
Yeah.
Had an injury, ended my football career, whatever. So now I started paying out of pocket. I'm like, Dad, I could really use some help. Figure the fuck out. How many jobs do you have? 1. Get 3. What?
God.
And I was like, what the fuck, man? And now I asked him about this the other day. I said, dude, I don't hold any resentment, but why? And he said, here's why. He said, I knew that you, by doing that, the type of person you are, for the rest of your life, you'll never rely on anybody. Because you figured it out. He was like, I wanted to give you that lesson. He goes, I didn't give your brother that lesson. He goes, he may always rely on somebody,
mm-hmm.
right? If he needs help, somebody's always going to be there. He'll never have that figure it out mentality, right? I don't ask for help now, right? And that's because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was like, I knew if I instilled that in you at a young age, if you asked me for something, figure it the fuck out yourself, right? You would be a better man for it. And I was like, fuck, right? And at the time, I hated him. I thought, why did that motherfucker not buy me a car?
Yeah.
Why is he not helping me with college? I get so pissed off,
Mm-hmm.
And now I look at it, I'm like, God, that was a good lesson because I figured it out, right? I worked my ass off, bought myself a piece of shit Dodge pickup, right? Barely ran, little V6 Dodge single cab pickup, rode that son of a bitch until the wheels fell off, right? And then I worked 3 jobs to put myself through school,
God damn, man.
So, it worked, right?
Yeah. Now, what do you do to your kids? Well, you don't have kids.
I don't
yet.
have kids.
You don't
yet,
have them
right?
yet. But what, like, what do you think about doing when you do to your kids? You think about spoiling the fuck out of them.
I know it's so bad, right? Because I grew up wanting my whole life. You know what I mean? It was always like, God, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Like, hey, I want this tough shit. Hey, I want that tough shit, right? Like wearing hand-me-down clothes. I mean, dude, my mom had this big pot growing up, this big-ass pot. And on Mondays, she would make spaghetti, a big-ass pot of spaghetti. We ate that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, she made a big-ass pot of beans. We ate beans and rice. That was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then Sundays, we got to go to McDonald's. Right? That was our fucking childhood, you know what I mean? And then for dessert, during the spaghetti nights, she would make homemade garlic bread. That was like your gift, right? And then during Thursday, Friday, Saturday, she would make brown sugar rice. And that was your thing, right? So, like, I grew up fucking poor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I think about where I'm at now. I mean, my wife is, I'm successful, right?
I mean, I'm just looking at the shirt you're wearing. I mean, we're both wearing Travis Matthews stuff.
Yeah, so you know what's up.
Yeah, you're wearing $100 polo versus.
Yeah. Right. So, I do very well, right? For myself, I'm involved in a lot of different businesses, and then I make a good amount of money shooting. I could just shoot if I wanted to. I'm in the position where I could shoot full time, but I like nice shit, right? So, I manage a couple businesses on the side.
Yeah.
And I've got some other ancillary investments, but my wife grew up not as poor as I did by any means, right? But she grew up very middle class.
Yeah.
Right. And her sister went to college, right? Master's degree, all that shit. Stepmom went to college, dad went to college, whatever. Her dad was a homicide detective, so like school was the thing. My wife has no college education. My wife is very intelligent. She graduated high school at 15 years old.
Holy shit.
She's fucking super smart. And said,
from out here in Tomball?
Yeah. Well, Klein Oak.
Oh, okay. All right.
And she said, school's not for me. I'm good at it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go find something else to do. Right. So she kind of bounced around some jobs, and she's very entrepreneurial, and then was like, I'm going to try this real estate thing out. So in Houston, there's what's called the $1 Million Club.
Yep.
So my wife was 6th. She was the 6th highest grossing realtor in Houston this year.
Who she work with?
D.R. Horton.
Oh, okay. So my dad's neighbor used to, until he went to sell his business and got divorced, was a guy named John Doherty. I mean, their average, you know who that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was my dad's immediate next door neighbor, and big time, dude. Yeah. So John, this is a great story. So John used to live where my parents are, or where my parents were. My mom's actually sold her house. She actually lives right down the road from me now, which I love. Like if she needs anything, like I feel I'll come back to the John Dory story here in a minute. I made my father never planned on living past 65. Like he knew he just wasn't going to make it there. No one in his family had ever lived that long.
A lot of guys from that generation don't. My dad told me the other day, fuck man, I hope I'm making another couple of years. I'm like, dude, you're 63.
Yeah.
Or 64.
He died. My dad died a month after, about 5 weeks after he turned 64.
Yeah.
Yeah, his birthday's January 11th. So I lost track on that one. Anyway, well,
your mom.
Oh yeah. Like she lives right up the road, and so I'd made a promise to my dad a few years ago, because he just knew he wasn't going to make it, and I told him, I made me promise him that I would take care of my mom. Yeah. Just always see to it that she had all of her needs met and stuff like that. And so it's really cool now that we'd been working on, because their house got trashed from the freeze. The day my father passed away, the fucking ceiling collapsed in his theater room. So they had like 7 pipes break. So they had pipes break like the day of the freeze on the 16th, and then we got them repaired, and then like once they turned the water back on, more broke, and they broke directly over my dad's theater room, which is where he always went to watch TV.
Yeah, it was his spot.
It's exactly where he
so
sat.
There's some sentimental value there for your mom.
Big time, man.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was.
She goes in there to like remember him and stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Yeah, and so luckily she's right up the road, and so like she called me. She's like, hey, they brought my washer and dryer over, but nothing got connected.
Yeah.
And here's the funny part. I've run a construction company for 20 years now. Like my father started our business 44 years ago. I've been running it for 20 years. It's a construction company. We fix properties after natural disasters. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And I said, Mom, you've been in the house now for 3 days. Why didn't you call me? This is like Friday. I said, why didn't you call me?
Yeah.
Like 2 days ago to get your washer and dryer hooked up. She's like, honestly, I didn't know you knew how to do it. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the?
Thanks for the confidence, Mom.
Jesus, Mom.
It's not like I run a fucking construction business.
Exactly. I'm like, Mom. And what's funny is like she has shit in her house that I've built. Like I have a actually.
Moms are funny, man.
It's sitting right here. It's under here. It's a stool.
Yeah, I see it.
It's a footstool. That's the first thing I ever made. I made that for my mom. I'm redoing it. I'm making another version of it, like an updated version.
Yeah.
Just to make one. But like that's anyway. She has other shit in her house that I've made. I'm like, you don't think I know how to hook up a fucking washer and dryer?
Yeah.
So I'm like, thanks for the confidence, Mom. You made me feel really good.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So anyway, John Doherty used to live across the lake from where my parents were, and he had these Chris Craft boats.
Badass.
Yeah, like $350,000, $450,000 boats. You know, like what you see the Kennedys riding around in, right? And so what he had was super fucking cool in his house. The house, he had the bulkhead was cut back in under the house.
No fucking way.
And so the boat could go up in there and raise up through the floor into the house.
Oh, that's so titties.
Yeah, it's fucking badass. Well, the house, like, I don't know, maybe 12, 13 years ago, something like that, burnt to the ground. Boats inside of it and everything.
Oh.
So he comes over. Oh, yeah. So he comes over and he buys the house right next to my parents' house.
Yeah.
And he builds 4 separate boathouses over the water, one for each one of his brand new Chris Craft boats. And
keep in mind, I mean, those are $300,000 to $400,000 boats. Those aren't cheap boats.
No,
fuck. Chris Crafts are.
Yeah, and they're teak. They're made of teak, so they take years to make.
Oh yeah.
So
I forget. I've looked it up before because one of my buddy's dads had a Chris Craft, and it was an old one though. You know what I mean? He bought it used, and he was so proud of it. Right?
They're amazing.
I forget what he said. It's something like there's over like 2,200 man hours into one of those boats.
Yeah, it's like it's literally like owning a 1973 Ferrari or something like that.
It's like going out and buying a Rolls Royce.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Absolutely,
it's a handcrafted piece of art. You can take a quarter, and you can sit it end up on the top of a running Rolls Royce engine, and it won't fall over. I mean,
amazing.
It's just the most immaculate
pieces of art, man.
Yeah, that's what they are. That's a Chris Craft.
Yeah.
Chris Craft is a Rolls Royce of boats.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
And he's got 4 of them.
He's got 4 of them. So the funniest thing was, man, he built these boathouses, and they were over the water, and they were huge. Each one of them was like, I don't know, like 1,000 to 1,500 square feet.
Jesus,
they're massive, each boathouse. Well, the HOA got pissed off. Now he owned like 3 lots on the water, and his house is fucking massive, and it's like, so the HOA got pissed off because he built these fucking boathouses. Well, and again, the other side of it, it's like he's on the water, so and no one can see past his house. You can't see from the other side of the fucking road. So like, what are you guys worried about? My dad didn't fucking care. My mom and dad thought that the Dohertys were awesome. Well, he got into a lawsuit with the HOA, ended up bankrupting the HOA.
Oh yeah.
But when he got like they started like the initial like discovery and everything. Like he had one personal account that had just over $200 million in it.
Yeah, fuck around and find out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And-
a little neighborhood HOA against
Exactly.
a guy with more zeros in his bank account than that neighborhood's worth.
Exactly.
Come on, dude. What
Now,
are you doing?
now, and again, and you think about it, you're like, oh, this is like a phenomenal neighborhood, but like you have 100 homes in this neighborhood, and I don't give a fuck if you guys are paying $300 a month into HOA fees, which you're not. I mean, you're not gonna match this,
No.
and he's gonna go the fucking distance, and then it's gonna cost y'all.
Yeah.
So he ended up racking up the HOA over $1 million in attorney's fees. Yeah, and they finally ended up having to file bankruptcy.
Good for him.
Yeah, fucking love
Fuck
it, dude.
the HOA. Dude.
Yeah.
I got an HOA letter the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they we just built a new house, obviously, when we moved here.
Huh.
Well, I just found out that they, under the flower beds and shit, they didn't put weed barriers,
Okay.
right? So I got some weeds popping up and some grass actually rooting through. And I was like, motherfucker, right? Well, as soon as I noticed it, apparently the HOA noticed it. And they sent me a letter like, hey, if you don't have these removed, we're going to have somebody come remove them and then charge you for it.
The weeds
The weeds.
in your flower beds.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God, right? So I get it all taken care of, right? So then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I've got to put the reed barrier down, right? So I'm just going to rip it all out
Sure.
and redo it.
Yeah.
Well, then I get on my neighborhood Facebook page and there's like 50 people who redid their flower beds, and the HOA is sending them notices that they got to tear it all down and put it back because they didn't ask for approval. And the people who did ask for approval got denied. No, how it is how it needs to stay, because that's how the optics of the neighborhood got to go, right? So
Like you're just fucking redoing the mulch and shit, right? Or you're like redesigning it and everything.
no. I'm just gonna pull all the. I'm talking about pulling all the bushes out, all the mulch, everything,
Okay.
putting down a weed barrier, putting some nice plants, keeping the same layout,
Yeah.
right? But just new mulch, new plants, maybe a rock
Okay.
barrier. Right?
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
Gotcha. All right.
So one of the guys on the neighborhood Facebook page was like, okay, apparently you don't have to have a permit to have a radio tower
Mm-mm.
whatsoever.
Totally legal.
He put
My
a-
parents had one on their house.
He put a 42-foot radio tower in the backyard of his house in a neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
and told the HOA, because they fined him.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, take your fine away, I take my radio tower away.
Right.
Fucking gangster, dude.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Fucking gangster.
So my parents actually had one on their house on Lake Conroe. For whatever fucking reason, the person who owned it beforehand had this fucking radio tower out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to do we went through the research, and it was a 50-foot radio tower. You know,
Mhm.
it's like you're out in the fucking middle of nowhere. It's a big ass
Yeah.
fucking radio tower. Like, what the fuck is this thing?
You own 70 feet of your airway.
Yeah. So like we had, like I that's how I found that out. Yeah, you don't have to have a permit to have this radio tower. So I've actually two stories. I have my best friend. He lives a mile from me, and they recently just did all their flower beds,
Mm-hmm.
and they got rid of all the mulch and they put in rock. Everything's white rock.
Yeah.
New plants everywhere. Just got rid of the
Gorgeous.
mulch and it's rock, and it looks fucking fantastic. So in his driveway, and they live in a gated community right on the golf course. Tomball Country Club's right across the street.
Yeah. I just redid all the floors in Tomball Country Club.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you for the new pro?
Mhm.
Because he just came in there like 6 months ago.
Yeah, when you walk in, all the new floors that you see down.
Yeah. Nice, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it looks good in there.
Yeah.
Well, thank God.
I didn't do it. I sold it.
Right. Well, thank God they're doing something, because, I mean, the clubhouse. Look, everybody says it's a beer joint with a golf course.
I'm a member at Sterling National.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it's a beer joint with a golf course.
That's all it is,
It's
man.
a little high class now that Sterling bought it, but when it was
Right.
Houston National, it was a beer joint with a golf course.
But you know, like over here at Tomball, I mean, the guys that play there, they have money.
Mhm.
Them dudes are rich, and they don't want anybody fucking with them.
Yeah.
And all they cared about was like my buddies who are members there. I'm not a member there, but like we play there 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And they're complaining because they came in and redid the driveway out there. They're like, they should have put the money in the fucking in the cart pass. I said, hey, you're probably right, but the guys that have all the fucking money, the really really rich ones, they don't want to drive their fucking vehicles in here on top of that bullshit. And even if they're older, that's gonna piss them off. They got to step out onto that. It's they wanted it redone.
Yep.
I said, when you guys have a couple commas in your bank account, then you can make that same decision.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Said, you can't blame them, dude. They've been playing golf here for 20 years. You guys have been members here for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Just, it is what it is.
There's levels to that shit.
Yeah. So anyway, he'd redid his yard, redid everything, and had like a small pile of gravel.
Mm-hmm.
And he owns a construction company, so he works from home. So he's got a small pile of this rock that's out by his garage, and he had his garbage can sitting in front of his truck. Middle of the day, he gets an email. HOA, you can't see. They send him a picture. They send him a picture from the end of his driveway, and it's a picture of the back of his truck saying you can't have your garbage can sitting out. Now, in this picture, you cannot see the fucking garbage can. The way the houses are set, you can't see the garbage can from the street. Now, keep in mind, he's home, right? He has them on video walking up onto his property.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He has them on camera. Like like he's got a long driveway. And so like they walk up under his porte-cochere around his truck and see his. So like he fucking calls him. He's like, I have video of your people walking onto my house. Yeah, trespassing.
No permission.
No, exactly.
In a no solicitation neighborhood, I'm sure.
Complete gated, no solicitation. Yeah.
Same here. I'm in a gated, no solicitation neighborhood.
Yeah.
You walk up on my property without an invitation, it's 100% trespassing. The second you pass across the walkway.
Yeah.
You know, the sidewalk.
Yep.
Trespassing.
Yeah, and they have like they don't have a sidewalk, but they have the culvert. So it's it's like right on the other side of that culvert. You're no longer on the easement. You're no longer on the right of way. You're on my private property. Yep. Like you've trespassed on my property.
And
so
you're in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like if I had been out there, I could have legally shot whoever the fuck this person was.
Yeah.
But number two, he's like, I'm home. He's like, if I want to have my garbage can sitting out fucking side while I'm home, this is HOA bullshit. So they immediately, because they'd send him email, they'd send him a certified letter, all this other stuff. They were going to fine him. So he's like, okay, cool. I have a video of you on my fucking property. He's like, we can take this to fucking court. You guys want to go this route? We go to court. Fine. Yeah. Fine. So anyway, I had a similar issue here. I'm sure when you walked in this house, you saw that I had a black American flag hanging out front.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, most people don't understand what that is.
Nope.
Yeah, most people don't understand it's a warrior flag. It's not some political bullshit.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not about supporting Trump or hating this or hating. It's none of that.
Yeah, the black flag goes back a long way.
Big time, almost to the Revolutionary War.
Yep.
It's documented it's documented at least as far back as the Civil War. Mm-hmm. They believe it existed all the way back to the Revolutionary War, but they know for a fact that it existed during the Civil War.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't understand that. So I started getting letters from the HOA. And I would respond to him very kindly, like, it's an American flag. I have the right to fly it and go this route. And they kept going this way, doing this. And they started sending me certified letters. Oh, we're going to start fining you. So at this point, I fucking unloaded and I even put it on the community page. And I said, clearly, you as the HOA, nor 50% of the people that live in this fucking community, which is upsetting, know your rights. Number one, in the state of Texas, let alone the United States of America, nobody, including an HOA or an HOA management company, can restrict the manner, the location, or the time in which an American flag can be flown. Mm-hmm. As long as I am not altering that flag to have different designs on it, I can fly it. It still has the 50 stars and it still has the 13 bars. Stripes. I said, you cannot tell me. I said, if someone wanted to hang a gay pride flag up there, as long as it had the fucking stars and it still had the 13 stripes.
Never, ever be an HOA letter sent about a gay pride flag.
No.
You are out of your mind.
No, they wouldn't be. But if they wanted to, they could fly it.
Yeah.
As long as it meets this criteria. Mm-hmm. And I even went down the road and I said, look, you live in a really fucked up world when you guys don't understand free speech. Mm-hmm. I said, even unpopular speech, even offensive speech is protected. It is free.
Not anymore, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know we're facing a lot of different stuff, but
it is technically.
Right. It's supposed to be.
It is, yeah.
And so I even explained, I said, look, there is case law in the state of Texas, which says the HOA, and here's where the HOA can't do it. And ironically, it comes from a man burning the fucking American flag on the footsteps of the Republican National Convention back in the 60s. Mm-hmm. He went to go burn the flag, And the fucking cops stopped him, and they beat his ass, and they took him to jail, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court. And in the Supreme Court statement, in the judgment, it says, though we do not support the burning of the flag,
He has a legal right to do it.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yep.
Now, is anybody going to, stop somebody who happens to run up there, fuck him up, and take the flag beforehand? Absolutely not.
I like the range 15 method. You ever seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
The Black Rifle Coffee movie.
Oh, yes.
Range 15.
Yeah.
We're gonna burn this American flag.
Yeah.
And they walk in and take the flag, and they come back and whack whack.
Yeah. Just to fucking pop everybody. There's one that happened on a beach. I don't know if you've seen that video. And there's this guy, I don't know if he's fucking drunk or high or whatever, and it's like a 4th of July, and he's like trying to light this flag on fire. And this guy out of the clear blue runs up and fucking snatches the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And the cops weren't trying to stop the guy. I mean, he could do what he wants.
Yeah.
The cops weren't going to try to stop him, but another citizen ran up and grabbed that fucking flag, and then that guy tried going after the dude that snatched the flag, and the fucking cops slammed this bitch to the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course. But that was the point. Like, like people didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And the HOA didn't understand it. And I'm like, well, that's really cool. Like, you make a business out of managing communities, and you're an HOA, and you don't fucking know the laws and the rules. There's actually a law on the books here in Texas that protects that. So there's a federal flag statute that actually obviously dictates like the location, time, place of the way a flag is supposed to be flown, how it's the star is always moving forward kind of thing. How you hang them vertically, all this other stuff. There's actually a fucking like an organization within the government that regulates this shit.
Mm-hmm.
There is a law on the books in the state of Texas that strictly prohibits an HOA from interfering with how a flag is flown.
Yep.
And people don't understand that.
Same thing with our neighborhood with people getting popped for like you say, the guy did the white rock.
Yeah.
What started the whole thing is somebody put white rock instead of mulch, and the HOA sent them fines and shit.
Yeah.
And nobody understood this, right? But there's actually a statute in Texas, in the state of Texas, you can change in any neighborhood your landscape to be drought intolerant, and the HOA cannot stop you. Right. So putting rock instead of mulch, fake plants instead of real plants, whatever. They have no right.
Yep.
Right. So in our neighborhood Facebook page, this lady posted a picture of her front yard. Looked beautiful, white rock, badass, nice flower bushes, real flower bushes too. I mean, they were beautiful. The house looked night and day better, right? The HOA tried to find them, and all I did was say, send them the link, texas.gov. Here's the statute. Here's everything.
Yeah, Texas House Representatives. This link, blah blah.
I just posted the link with you have rights. And next thing you know, HOA's been silent.
But see, I think to me, obviously, and I think you can see this. Obviously, the sport you're in, the community you're involved with, that all leads to a much greater problem.
Yeah,
is obviously we can go down the road of uneducated individuals, but
it's a deep rooted problem. And here's where I think it starts. Right, too many people don't mind their fucking business. Right. Here's how I look at it. Right. As long as you're not affecting myself or my way of life,
right, I
could give a flying fuck at a rolling donut what you do with yourself and whatever you want to do. Right.
Flying fuck at a rolling donut. Right.
So
okay.
So like
I'm trying. All right, I'm thinking about that right there. But,
so that goes by like I'm obviously a staunch conservative, but I have a lot of non-conservative values.
Sure.
Right. Like your sexuality is your business. Right. I have a lot of family members and a lot of friends who are living their best life, and I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I support it.
It's like I said, hey man, my son's gay, but I don't want to hear about like what you're doing.
Of course, don't throw it in people's faces.
Right.
But I could give two fucks.
Absolutely.
Right?
Be happy.
Yeah. If you want,
I love him regardless.
If you want to go out and you want to and you want to do whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
right? I could give
Two
two
shits.
shits,
Fucking
right?
don't care less.
But here's the problem, right? Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Right? Here's where I have an issue is when people start trying to limit people's speech on both sides.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because both sides are guilty.
Yeah.
Right?
All hell Elon.
Right is trying, yeah, right? All hail Elon, for real. Rights are trying to stop left speech, lefts are trying to stop right speech,
Absolutely.
and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's bad.
Listen, if you want to live in an area that doesn't have guns, like, I'm sorry, move to Canada.
Yeah.
You want to go deal with Mr. Blackface fucking mayor up in Canada?
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Old Trudeau or
Trudeau,
whatever.
yeah.
Trudeau. If you want to go to Trudeau country and have fun up there, I'm all for it, dude. They don't have that many guns. You have to have a license for each gun you own.
Yeah.
You're only allowed to have a certain amount of guns, and they have to be hunting rifles, and you have to document them, and you have to apply for the license, and then you have to apply for a license to go use them.
Dude, I lived in Canada for
bro.
2 years. It was a
Yeah.
trip.
Go
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly cool with that, dude.
Yeah.
But here's where I have an issue is when, because your feelings are hurt, you try to infringe on my lifestyle.
Right.
I don't dig it.
No.
Right?
Mm-mm.
I don't dig it. I don't try to infringe on your lifestyle.
Absolutely
dude.
not.
And here's the funny part. Like, I've gotten into this argument. Like, my wife has an extremely liberal friend. I'm talking, dude. Like, you wouldn't even believe. Right?
Like the kind of like
Oh, I'm talking.
I don't want to say like assault them, but like
No,
at some point you get so frustrated.
I'm
Like,
talking about purple hair,
yeah.
straight up liberal.
Okay.
Right? Like, lose an argument, start screaming in your face, liberal. Right? And I've had this discussion with her at length. And we've kind of found common ground, right? After some long, heated discussions over the many years. Right?
Yeah.
But I told her, I said, listen, man, like, I'm not invalidating any of your points, right? You're right. Sure. The tweets are mean, dog. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? And I get it. You don't like guns, right?
Yeah.
But here's the problem, right? There's people like me. I make my living with guns.
Yeah.
Right? I've never shot anybody.
Right.
Right? I've never thought about shooting anybody. I've never been somewhere and be like, God, I hope some shit pops off so I can pop someone.
Yeah, I've got this gun. I can go use
I got
it.
this gun. I can go use it. No.
Yeah.
My worst fear.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, there is very few people on this earth who can handle a pistol as well as I can. And
Yeah.
that's a humble statement. I mean, there's a handful of people in the U.S. right now that can handle a pistol as well as I can.
I like the video where you fucking where your clip you didn't have your magazine all the way in and it just fucking falls straight out.
You like that?
Yeah.
There's another one. Go a little further back. I go skeet shooting with pistols just to fuck with the shotgun guys.
Yeah.
But
God, I couldn't imagine that,
dude, once you get, I mean, it's like, you know, it's like asking Tiger Woods to hit a 20-foot putt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, he's gonna do it.
Yeah,
9
it's
out of 10
something you've
times.
done. Well, see,
I've shot hundreds and hundreds of thousands of rounds, and not only that, the live fire is a 10% of gun handling. I dry fire. I handle my gun dry, practicing the mechanics 90% of the time.
you know what drives me nuts about that? I'll tell you this, man. I've been to so many gun shows, and I don't get it. Like, you're supposed to dry fire your weapon.
There are some firearms that are not made for it, like a 22 rimfire.
Yeah.
Rimfire, you'll break the firing pin, right?
No.
But a centerfire handgun,
Yeah.
or centerfire rifle,
I'm talking about like a Glock 22
dude,
or
you
something
can
like
fucking-
that.
God, dude, you can
Yeah.
pull that trigger 900 million times, and it
Right.
would never wear out.
So, yeah, so like
The
I was
springs could be replaced.
I was at a
every
gun
couple
show
100,000.
years and years and years ago, and it was like they had a Glock 15.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, and it was like a perfect size gun for my hand.
Yeah.
And like of course, you know, you check it, run it through, make sure it's not loaded, pull the magazine out, and I go and I point it down and I dry fire it. I want to make sure the motherfucker works.
Guys, like, what the?
What the fuck are you doing? Why are you
Yeah.
doing that? You're not supposed to dry fire a gun. How are you a gun dealer?
You're an idiot.
Yeah, how are you a fucking gun
Well, it's
dealer?
on education. That's what it is. Here's the problem, right? The lack of education, proper firearms education in the U.S. is a massive problem.
Of course.
It's a massive problem, right?
Gun safety. I mean, look.
Gun safety's big, right? But people don't understand the mechanism of these firearms, right? They don't.
Well, yeah, but people drive cars all day long.
Exactly.
Most of them don't know how to
don't-
change their fucking tire.
But they get, gas, brake, park, shift, whatever. That's the basics, right?
And they're actually driving a fucking missile.
They really are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people that die from car accidents is fucking insane. I've escaped death in car accidents a couple times.
Well, it's 100. It's 100 times what it is for gun
Oh
deaths.
my god, no, way more than that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I heard
the
a
amount of
statistic, by the
vehicle-
way. Heard a statistic, by the way. There's 140 million people every year, and this is way off the fucking topic. 140 million people a year die from malaria.
Really?
Die from malaria.
Holy shit.
It is believed. It is believed. There was a website. This was on Joe Rogan show. This was believed that at some point that 50% of the deaths known to man are from malaria.
Guns are so evil.
Right, but guns are bad.
I'm sure there's a cure for malaria.
Yeah.
When's the last time you got malaria?
Fucking never.
Fucking never.
Right. Never. Not one fucking time. But I'm
sure
also
there's inoculations for it, but
yeah, well, yes, because you go to Africa, you get all the shots before you go.
yeah, so you don't get malaria.
So you don't get it,
But
right?
here's the problem, right? All the people getting malaria can't afford.
Right.
But it's not that they can't afford it, right? It's that the people. Here's the problem: there is no money in cures.
No, it's treatment.
It's all the money in treatment, right? So if you get hospitalized for malaria,
Right.
they're gonna make way more money off of you than if they just said, "Hey, here's a $200 shot. You'll never get malaria again."
Right. But
Whatever it might be.
I'm going to throw this out there, and don't think for one second I believe this. There are the people that are going to put it out there to say, okay, well, the gun manufacturers, they're in the business of making sure people are scared. And maybe they're the ones that are standing behind some of this violence. It makes other people buy guns. I mean,
I've thought a lot about
look
this.
at COVID. Just an example. Just an example.
No, you're right.
I mean, gun sales and ammo sales went through the fucking roof.
Oh my
Because of
God,
COVID.
yeah. No, because of the riots.
Well, yeah.
The riots and COVID.
Well, yeah.
COVID had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
No, so
You
here's
mean, wait, mostly peaceful protests.
Yeah. Peaceful protests. No, you're 100% right. So here's the thing, right? I am not saying that the people who own gun companies aren't evil pieces of shit, because most CEOs of multi-billion-dollar corporations
Yeah.
or 150, $200 million corporations,
They're for profit.
they're for profit first.
Yeah.
Right?
They're
not
not caring about the well-being of the kid on the corner.
They don't run UNICEF.
No.
You know what I mean? They're there for money,
Mhm.
right? Not saying they're a piece of shit. I don't want to call them a piece of shit because I know a lot of those people. They're my friends.
There goes sponsors
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Oops. No, but here's the thing. It's not their
But those
problem.
5 sponsors that you have, especially the ones for the
Yeah.
powder and the casings and all that stuff, they're amazing. Those are
Yeah,
amazing
yeah.
people.
They're awesome, right? Listen, Atlas Gunworks, the owner of Atlas Gunworks, is a great human being. He really is. He's a humanitarian.
Right. He's over digging wells for the pygmies in the Congo, just like Justin
yeah,
Wren.
Yeah.
He's
No,
a-
he's not. He's making money, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
it is what
of course.
is, right? But he doesn't. He's not like the guns that I shoot. Right, are $6,000 to $10,000 worth
Right,
of art.
right.
So the people buying those guns aren't buying them for self-defense. So his game isn't like, oh, protect yourself.
Right.
His game is like, hey, dude, I build cool shit way better than fucking Glock, right?
Right.
So why not come buy my shit, right?
Right.
But the guys who own, Glock, SIG, Smith & Wesson, whatever, right? There is an aspect to what's the main reason to own a firearm in most people's eyes?
Personal protection.
Personal protection, right? Do you know that most people, the main guns that are used are sporting and hunting,
Of course.
right? They own personal protection firearms, but the ones that they're going to use the most are their sporting and hunting rifles.
It looks way cool to own it, to shoot an AR, an AK, or
Exactly,
or a
right?
Remington, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, dude. My favorite gun to go hog hunting with is my fucking F1 firearms. It's a Gucci'd out rose gold and black fucking big gold suppressor on it, badass fucking gun. And I smash hogs. with that,
Oh
right?
man.
You know what I mean? Like I don't have
Yeah.
I don't have a land tack or something. But now my I have a land tack in my truck.
Yeah.
Right? I have a land tack by my bed. It's just a black duty rifle. You know why? Because if I have to use it, I don't want my $6,000 rifle sitting in a police impound for 3 years.
Yeah.
I want my $900 rifle.
Plus, you know, as a utility type weapon, it's gonna work.
Oh yeah.
Like drop it in the mud,
yeah.
fucking dirty it up. That
Now the
motherfucker's gonna
F1
work.
will too, right?
Yeah.
But I spend money on that gun to like have fun with. I don't spend
Absolutely.
it to protect myself. Like the gun that I have in my truck right now that I use for personal protection every single day
Yeah.
is an H&K VP9. It's a $700 gun.
It's a good gun though.
It's a great gun.
Yeah.
It's a great gun.
good
It was actually a wedding gift for my cousin.
Man, see, that's the best thing about being in Texas, dude.
Yeah, right.
That's one of the greatest things about being in Texas. Like, you get married, you have a party.
For real.
People
you
give you
get
fucking guns,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, this is my wedding gift.
That's actually kind of funny. As I was, I listen to Joe Rogan a lot, and one of the things he tripped out about being from California, but of course he's a hunter.
Mm-hmm.
He's liberal, but he loves guns. He loves the conservative lifestyle, but he loves like socially Democrat, right?
Yeah.
He fucking loved it when he came here to Texas.
Dude, he got like 19 guns.
Yeah, people just handing
2
these
weeks.
fucking insane guns out to him.
Yeah.
Like collectible, like Remington, double barreled,
We're building one for him
engraved.
right now.
Jesus, yeah.
He doesn't know it.
Yeah,
We're just gonna send it to him.
yeah. Maybe someone watching this will fucking tell him about it. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Next thing you know, you're on Joe Rogan show.
Oh fuck, no way. That guy. I'm not interested. No offense, I'm not interesting enough.
Dude, you never know. Never know.
You never know.
Listen,
right?
look.
Listen, I don't know if I'm intellectually prepared for that conversation, right? Like, I'm a smart dude. I can tell you everything there is to know about guns, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to the mechanics of them, most of the laws, right? Like I hang out with some cool people.
Sure.
Like, in October, I'm going to go up to Florida, Jupiter, Florida, and I'm going to shoot a match down there, and then I'm going to go train Trump Jr.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like, me and him text fucking once a week. You know what I mean? Like, I meet
That's
a bunch
cool.
of cool people, but like Joe Rogan's in my opinion, the most famous person alive.
Yeah. Well, actually, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine. Had him on here. So Joe is a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
He's a student of the language.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has to know how to say something in a very concise way that makes people laugh. So has to be topical and everything else. He's got to. There's a lot that goes into that. So he has actually perfected what's called motivational interviewing,
Mm-hmm.
where it's you're having a conversation and you encourage them to have to say certain things, man. So he
work of art.
right. Well, he's kind of like, it's weird. It's really weird because he's obsessed with. You ever read The Outliers?
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yep.
Amazing book, right?
Incredible book.
Joe's obsessed with this book and talking about the 10,000 hour process and all this other stuff. What he doesn't realize, maybe he does, he's just too humble to fucking talk about it.
Way too humble.
He is an outlier
Mm-hmm.
in the fact that, he's gone through this process and he's been able to develop this. Well, he has 1,800 shows out there. He comes across as an authority on certain things. People love talking to him.
Dude, most people get their news from him.
Yeah.
You realize that?
Yeah.
Like,
Especially in our age range.
dude, oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, 18 to 54.
Absolutely.
He's the trustworthy person.
Yeah.
Like, and
which
he is the best prime example, right, of an outlier as is described in that book.
Yeah. Absolutely. And from a social aspect, he's not captured.
Mm-mm.
He's not gone to this one side or the other kind of theory.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he has ideals that he believes in and he kind of sticks with it, but he also knows what the fuck he likes. And he's like, man, I don't want that shit on either,
He's a chameleon with principle.
Yeah. So it's pretty neat, but
He's so adaptable.
yeah. Well, and it's one of the cool, again, I think he comes from a pretty hard background in Boston. Obviously, like he talks about all the time, he made it big. Like he got the first 2 shows that he ever went and auditioned for. And actually, he didn't even audition. He just showed up and they gave him the first 2 shows that he was ever eligible for.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, plus his big, career as far as, comedy goes, UFC, stuff like that. With the podcast, man, the people that he's talking to,
Oh my God.
like, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, so, like having you on, like, it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
Right? Having Elliot on last week, whole different world. I mean, he's talking about, he's the #1 bounty hunter in the country for gypsies. And he's telling me some of these fucking stories that he's gone out trying to fucking, these gypsy concrete asphalt company owners,
Dude,
shit like that.
Teagues are some of my close family friends.
Dude, they're amazing people. So I grew up with those guys.
The Teagues?
Teagues, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Close family friends of mine.
quick backstory on that. So Justin and Brandon Teague, the twins, they're my age.
Yep.
Their fathers.
Bobo.
Yeah. So Robert and Roy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So their father, their father and uncle are my first wife's mom's first cousin.
No shit.
Yeah. So
Damn.
So growing up, like, I went to school. My wife number one.
Wife number one.
Wife number one.
What about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Just kidding.
1 through 4. 1 through 4. There's 1 through 4. The rest of them were not gypsies. But yeah. So wife number one, she's basically second cousins with like Justin and Brandon in that age group.
That's crazy.
So I ended up growing up around all of those guys.
Yeah.
And it was ironic. So I moved back from Canada, and like my father had a ranch, and he was building this road. He built a huge shop way in the back, and wanted to connect the driveway out front all the way to the back. So I show up one day, and he's got an asphalt crew out there, and it's a couple of the Teagues. It's Joe and Tony.
Tony is a close friend.
I was gonna say he's right at your age.
He's a little bit older than me, so he was best friends with my brother.
Okay.
And then his little brother Levi,
yeah,
was my age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tony Montana.
Yeah.
Dude, he's a fucking gangster, dude. He's so fucking badass. He's crazy as hell.
I've watched that guy do some gangster shit.
Oh yeah, dude.
Him and his brothers.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. So we used to throw big ass parties off Shaw Road.
Oh yeah.
In the trailer park, dude. Fucking massive. And big ass bonfires, a bunch of rednecks. And then fucking Teagues would show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those guys are hard.
Big time.
Right.
Well, and you got to think about.
Pops off, dude. Those guys are running head first with their big ass noses right.
They don't give a fuck,
They don't give a
dude.
fuck, bro.
They don't fucking care.
They rip those wife beaters off. They're
taking their gold chains off.
They hand them to somebody, and they're fucking in it.
Dude, but they are the greatest guys. They are.
They'll take a bullet for you,
dude. It was the funniest thing, man. It was so January of 21, we went to Mexico for one of my buddy's bachelor parties, and the week after we got back, like all of the wives and girlfriends, they were going out for the bachelorette party. So all the guys got together again. We went to District 249. And we're all hanging out, partying and stuff.
That's Red River.
Yeah, exactly. And so I walk off to the bathroom, and as I'm coming back, this guy grabs me. It's Buster Teague. And, you know, his big fucking Popeye-sized goddamn forearms and shit. And he fucking grabs me, and he throws his arms around me and gives me a big hug. Well, I got this guy. I won't go too deep into the detail of who this individual is, but he immediately, like, we had a big booth. Like the booth in the corner around the dance floor right there. We were sitting there, and this motherfucker came over the goddamn wall of the booth because he saw me get grabbed by this guy.
So he thought it was like...
He thought it was something bad. And it was, dude, Buster Teague. I haven't seen Buster Teague in 15 years. And he recognized me like that, dude.
It's
and he
the
just...
kind of people they are, dude.
Well, I married their cousin. Yeah, you know, and of course, you know, my son and everything. Yeah. So they grabbed me immediately, wrapped their arms around me and everything. And, dude, they are... Like, they're great people.
Yeah.
They're just all great people.
True gypsies.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
So I haven't done it in forever, but back in the day, I learned how to speak Rummachal.
Rummachal.
With those guys,
yeah.
Man. And we used to fucking just annoy the shit out of my mom. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
They'd come over to the house, dude, and me and my brothers, you know, Harrison and Matthew, and then all those guys, we'd just go back and forth, just fucking giggling. And my mom had no idea what was going on.
Well, it's funny because my son's mom and I, we've been divorced since we were 21.
Mm-hmm.
My son, well, actually 22. My son was born literally a month before we turned 21.
Yeah.
We got divorced a month after we were like 22.
Yeah.
So I haven't lived around them forever. You know, we're talking 20 years now.
Long time.
But like anytime I go over there and they'll be fucking saying something and they forget, like I remember shit, and I'm sitting there and I'm hearing them talking about, like, you know, Shun Your Moy, Dinla the Corey, you know, all this other shit. I'm like I fucking understand. Like, I'm standing right here. I get what you're saying about me. Yeah. I just look at. I'm like, I know what you're saying about me, and they're like, fuck, totally forgot. You know. But it's funny. Well, and I was telling somebody the other day, it was ironic. I've really never had too many problems with my son's mom, and she ended up marrying a really great guy.
That's always a bonus.
Yeah, I won't give his name out, but he's also a gypsy. He's in that world.
Yeah.
But dude, he's a great guy. He's the salt of the world. Earth dude. He's an amazing guy. All those people are fucking great. I love them all. But this guy's really, really great, man. And it's funny because when I was in my early 20s, well, mid 20s, he's a couple years younger than me. My son's mom is only 4 days younger than me. So she's like 3 or 4 years older than her husband. And I used to live in a condo off of Loetta.
Yeah.
And I ended up meeting this guy. And he's a cousin to the Teagues. And we were all hanging out and everything. And
small fucking world.
Yeah,
man.
like we were all hanging out. Like he lived in the same condo complex.
Yeah.
And like we'd be at the pool and we'd all end up at like Big Texas, hanging out and shit like that. And then one night, man, it was the weirdest fucking thing. Like I got a late business call. I forgot where I was doing. And I walked outside. I don't know if I had a girl upstairs or whatever, but I got a business call and I walked outside. And I'm standing down in the parking lot and this black car comes fucking whizzing by and I hear this, "Hey, Jason." And it's this girl hanging out of this fucking black car and the car backs up. And I can't see who it was.
Yeah.
I was far away. And she's like, and she says her name. It was my ex-wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, why are you at my
condo?
Yeah, and not, I wasn't in my mind because I'm on the phone. I wasn't even thinking about being a guy. I'm just thinking she's partying with some friends, but she's in the passenger seat of her own car. I recognize the car because I fucking signed for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, and I said, what the fuck are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I'm here with so-and-so. And I'm like, and I'm on the phone. I'm like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know him by that name.
Yeah.
And he leans forward. And he's like, Jason, it's me. Squinty eye.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, dude? Okay, all right. You're banging my ex-wife? I'm like, what are you doing? But no, that's honestly, like, that's how it connected for me.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing, how the chain of events went.
Yeah.
But dude, I could honestly say, couldn't have asked like for a better man to be involved
in your kid's
in
life.
my son's life, man.
That's awesome. Dude.
He's a great man. He's a good father.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. Super, he's a nice man. I'll tell his name later.
Yeah.
And you'll know his name immediately.
Know him, yeah.
You'll know him immediately.
Yeah, because I grew up with all those guys, all the cousins, all the fucking everybody. Yeah, I went to school with most of them.
Yeah.
The younger ones, right?
Yeah.
I've worked for them.
Yeah.
Right when I was way younger, it was one of the jobs I had going through college. Right, get paid, $250 a day cash, bro. Go out there. They would call me, 2-3 days a week. Hey, we need you. All right, bet. I know I'm fucking slinging asphalt for the day, but I'm making $250 cash, bro.
Fuck yeah.
You can't beat it. I'm working for a fucking 14-year-old, but guess what, dude? That's how it is, 'cause that's how it is. I mean, they're kids.
Yeah.
Like Buster, Brandon, Tony, all their sons and shit were run crews and shit at like 9 years old.
Yeah.
I remember Levi went to school with me, dude. He was out of school at 13, driving fucking dump trucks.
Yep. So,
coming over to my house at 14 wearing a fucking $40,000 gold chain.
I know, it's insane.
You're like,
well, I tripped out. Obviously, we were freshmen in high school. So, you had, like I said, you had Justin and Brandon, the twins.
Yep.
And we were freshmen in high school, and my son's mom, she was in our class as well. Yeah. And they ended up dropping out. Like, no one knew what the fuck they went. We're like, what they're doing. And all of a sudden, like I find out, like, this is, and so, like, there's this story that they had told me this one time where somehow, some point, they got a job in Colorado at like a car dealership.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. They were going up to Colorado in like the fall just to go chase work,
They
right?
do that all the time.
Which happens.
Yeah.
So on their way up there, they were pulling their fifth wheels, and then the dump trucks were pulling the other equipment and shit. 2 of the engines blew in two of their pickups. So they just go up to a fucking like a Chevy dealership, and they just talk to these people, and they're like, "Look, work you a deal. You pay for the asphalt. All you have to do is pay for the material, receipt cost. We'll give you our vehicles. You give us brand new vehicles." And they got brand new fucking.
That's how they work, dude.
Yeah, in fucking trade, and now they're rocking and rolling out there in brand new fucking vehicles, and they get to drive around the goddamn community, saying, "Hey, we just did this Chevy dealership over here or whatever." It's like, man, dude, they're
hustlers.
Dude,
bro.
they're hustlers. They're fucking
gypsies,
brilliant,
bro.
man.
They're gypsies.
So it was a trip, man, talking to Elliot about this, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm the #1 fucking gypsy hunter, bounty hunter in the country." And he was telling me, he's like, "Dude, it's impossible. Like, it's hard." But he's from here.
Yeah.
And of course he
It's
knows
a huge gypsy community here.
Yes, it's huge. So he knows a lot of the individuals. And it's funny because like he immediately knew all the Teagues, knew names, blah, 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 rattle them all off. That side of the family never really been in trouble with the law. I mean, they've done crazy, stupid shit.
I have done some illegal shit with the Teagues. Never gotten caught, all right?
Right.
But we have done some really
Statute of
illegal
limitations
shit.
are way gone.
Yeah. Like we have ran from the cops on dirt bikes.
Yeah.
On dozens of occasions.
Yeah.
Ran from the cops in cars.
Yeah.
And like Tony had this blue Dodge. It was a pace truck with white stripes. 392.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
With a big ass Magnuson supercharger on it, dude. We fucking ran from the cops in that truck so many fucking times, dude. And then Buster had it. No, it wasn't. It was Buster. Buster had a Dodge Rumblebee truck, the yellow Dodge single cab truck. We ran from the cops in that a couple times. I mean, dude,
What's funny is you grew up in a town like this in Tomball, right?
Yeah.
They know who the fuck these guys are.
100%.
Right. And like, you're watching out for their vehicles.
Bro, we're running from the cops in a single cab yellow Rumblebee
Right,
Dodge.
right.
There's one of those.
Right, exactly. There's nobody else that has this vehicle.
Yeah, we're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
Right. Not then, but down the road.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, thank God for the laws, I guess, that, the next day is, hey, if the cops didn't catch you then, they can't do anything
Tough
to
shit.
you.
Yeah, tough shit, dude. Yeah, like, dude, I can't tell you how many times we riding our dirt bikes through the trails and shit. And then we pop out on a main street and we'd be riding, dude. It'd be like me, my brothers, Levi, Tony, Buster, Brandon, and we'd just be hauling ass down the highway, and the cop would fucking light us up, and we'd be just popping wheelies, flicking them off, like, "Fuck you, motherfucker!" We'd go flying down the road, and they just never caught us. Right?
Yeah.
And then they got smart and they started buying like Raptors and Banshees and shit to try to chase us on.
Yep.
You're on a four wheeler, bro.
Yeah.
We're on a dirt bike.
Yeah.
We're getting away.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna bang through these trails at Mach Jesus, and you've got no shot.
Yeah, you're not coming through there.
Yeah.
I remember when they had all the Banshees.
Uh-huh.
They had because Justin and Brandon both had Banshees.
They have badass Banshees.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course, man.
Those guys have so much money.
Yeah, they're taking everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they'll take it in trade, and they'll do this, and the next thing
Yeah.
you know, something they took in trade for $2,000, they're selling it off for $9,000.
Did you ever see Justin's DeLorean?
Yeah.
It was sick.
Dude, that's what I loved about those kids, though. So, like I was saying, when we were in 9th grade and we find out, like come sophomore year, like I was in construction. Like I grew up doing this. So, like when I wasn't in school or skating, I was at work with my dad, and so I understood construction. I grew up like we had dump trucks. We had
A lot of common ground there.
yes. So like
Yeah.
I understood. So I find out that these guys are driving fucking tandem axle, 12,000 pound or 12-ton dump trucks.
At 12.
Yeah, I'm like they're literally driving $115,000 vehicle around. And it's a new one,
Yeah.
and it's not like some beat up 1960s piece of shit
No, it's
that comes off of a fucking rock
It's a
quarry.
brand new fucking Peterbilt dump truck.
Yeah. And they're driving, and behind them is a brand new flatbed with a pintle hitch on it and a fucking brand new skid steer on it. And you're like, they're like, oh yeah, well, I paid for that cash off of last summer's work. And I'm like,
These guys make money, bro.
motherfucker. Yeah,
Guys
like
make
you,
money.
like you gotta admire, dude. They're,
Oh yeah, 100%.
look, dude, I gotta piss again.
I do too.
Okay,
I was about to ask, but
dude, yeah, we gotta pee one more time. All right, we're gonna pee again, and we're gonna come back right back. All right, and we're back one more time.
yeah,
Dude, no, I'm honestly, that's one of the things I like about this is I'm obsessed with Batman. Like I remember, so obviously you see this here, so it's like the 1989 original Batman Lego. I actually have the Dark Knight series tumbler downstairs. I actually just had to rebuild it because like part of my
I
like
saw it when we were down there.
Yeah.
It's sitting on the bar.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass. Yeah.
So part of my decompression sometimes when I get like fucking stressed out and I haven't gone to the gym, like I'll sit at my coffee table downstairs and I'll build Legos. Dude, the other day, like 2 weeks ago, I turned on HBO Max and I went to go watch the Batman.
The new one. Yeah.
Yeah, which I fucking love, by the way.
It was fucking good.
Did you like it?
I did.
Dude, thank God.
But I'm a Batman. Like I'm a Marvel DC fanatic.
Yeah, yeah.
I grew up on those comic books. You know what I'm saying? I grew up watching that shit. Like I've watched all the Marvel in order, chronologically, how it's supposed to be, no less than a dozen times. I've watched all the DC books. Like honestly, the greatest DC masterpiece of all time, in my opinion, is Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League.
Fantastic.
Like, how fuck did that not make the original movie?
Yeah.
4 hours or not, bro. Cinematic masterpiece.
Yes. 100% agree.
But the new Batman, I was skeptical at first because, like, Robert Pattinson.
You think about little girl movies, you know,
you know what I mean?
Twilight,
like,
all that shit.
Yeah, Twilight and all that shit. But, like, dude, he did a decent job.
I dug it, man.
Decent job. His mannerisms were very, like, he captured the darkness of it very well.
You got it right there.
Very, very well. He's not the square-jawed, jacked fuck. He's not Ben Affleck.
He's not
right?
Christian Bale.
He's not Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Right? It's just not.
Now, I'll be honest. I was not very happy with Ben Affleck. Like, he did an okay job. Like, I really liked the Justice League.
I liked the Justice League version.
Like, the Batman, Superman was kind of rough for me. Like Batman versus Superman or Batman and Superman.
Yeah, they didn't. They needed to lean more on, like, if you're gonna be this. Here's the problem. Here's where they fucked up, in my opinion. Right when it starts, you're like, dude, Batman's dark.
Right.
Right. Holy shit. He's branding motherfuckers in prison. You know what I mean? Like he's smirking people.
Yeah.
That's not the Batman that we've come up to grow and know. You know, this is the dark Batman.
Yeah.
Well, they started the movie dark, and then, oh my God, he's the lovable guy trying to keep everybody together. Like,
Right.
What are you doing, bro?
Right.
Keep him dark.
Yeah, and he shows up in this really puffed up kind of crazy suit that has no resemblance of the man that's under it.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, all right. So if you look at the Michael Keaton version, Keaton version is very true to the comic book. It's very, very on point with the comic book.
Yeah.
To me, if you're going to do Batman, if we're going to just talk about the Batman itself, you want the character to be believable. Like, you want it to be believable that there's this person that can transition. It's kind of the point along the lines of, like, Superman, okay?
Yeah.
You have Clark Kent that all of a sudden jumps into a fucking phone booth, changed into fucking Superman, and he runs off and he's Superman.
Yeah.
You want to believe that somehow Batman can put on this suit, become this individual,
And then turn into the eccentric billionaire.
Exactly.
Or in Robert Pattinson's case, the recluse billionaire.
Right.
Right?
But it was, if you look at it, where these ones did it right, in my opinion, was from the Batman as the character perspective, was you had Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, Robert Pattinson. If you look at their suits, you look at the characters, they closely resembled the suit itself, and they could take off that suit very fast and become the billionaire. They become Bruce Wayne very fast. Whereas you look at the Val Kilmer, You look at the George Clooney. You look at the Ben Affleck characters.
It's not the same.
No, they're these insane fucking suits that are hugely bulky and everything else. That, yes, when they're in it, you're not going to believe that he's Bruce Wayne, but at the same time, there's no way that they can transition from this person to the other.
Yeah.
Those movies did that.
Yeah.
And so you didn't have a problem with the time, like 2.5 hours, 3 hour long movie. Like, I love that.
Yeah, like, dude, the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, it could be 2 hours more.
Yeah.
And I'd be into it. Like, I wish they would have gone past the final battle scene and gotten into, like, the real invasion.
So,
but now we're never going to see where that, I don't think we're ever going to see where the end of Zack Snyder's cut finishes, which sucks because the way it ends was,
yeah,
it was Marvel-esque. Is what I
yeah,
would say.
yeah. They almost ended it same way like Infinity War kind of went out. Yeah, it was all this build up and then boom.
Yeah. And you're like, what?
Literally, it was
Boom.
It was this.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, like, I made I don't know, I have this obscure obsession with typing my thoughts out as if anybody fucking cares about it.
You should see the notes section of my phone, bro.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
So I typed out this. It was almost like a love letter to the Batman. And of course, I'm
You're a Batman fanatic.
yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I can go back to when I was 7 years old and my grandparents were living off of Telge Road. And
I grew up on Shaw Road.
so right around the corner from here.
Right around the
I can't
corner,
remember the name of the exact road. It's like Telge, and then it kind of goes off to at an angle. But grew up. They lived down there. My parents were off Louetta, and we were in Wimbledon Estates, and they were over Cypress, Tomball area.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember vividly, like, for my birthday that year, I got these high top Chuck Taylors. And they were Batman. They were black with yellow bats, right? And I wore them fucking everywhere. And I remember, like, being out in, like, but I, like, the very next day, I went to my grandparents' house. And I hung out there for the weekend because that's what I love to do. I love to go to my grandparents' house and I'd build shit with my grandpa. My grandpa, weird thing was, like, my father never taught me anything. Like, he never sat me down and said, for example, I can remember vividly how I learned how to type. Okay. Like, I can type like 140 words a minute today. Right. Yeah. My father couldn't, like, he didn't know computers at the time.
Yeah,
right. He didn't. What he did was, my father was amazing in this aspect. He had a computer, right, at his office. And we would go to his office on the weekends because my father was obsessed with working. And we would go up there and had this computer, and we bought Mavis Beacon's typing tutor on CD-ROM. Actually, it was on floppy disk at the time, right? The little 3.5 inch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, put it in.
Half the people watching this don't even
have no fucking idea what that is.
Yeah.
So we put this in, and that's how I learned how to type, because my father had a computer, and he was willing to buy me this program, and we happened to be sitting there for hours upon hours where he was doing something, and I couldn't be out in the yard playing. He put me in an opportunity to learn. That kind of thing, right? That's what my father did.
Yeah.
Like, that's a prime example of, like, he could not teach me how to learn how to type, but he gave me the tools and the opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
My grandfather, on the other hand, one of the reasons I loved going and hanging out at their house was that he would teach me. Like, he taught me how to use tools. Yeah. Like, to this day, like, the number one rule that I know about tools is how to return them. So my grandfather would give you a tool, right? And you use it to go do whatever. Mm-hmm. It is your responsibility to get it back to him, to return it to him. If you let somebody else use it, fine, because they have to do the job too, whatever. They use the tool. But if that person brings the fucking tool back to him, he's going to lose his mind. It's your job. No, you need to go get the tool from him and then make sure you get it back to my grandfather.
This was an exchange between you and me, not
exactly
me, you, and the person you had an exchange with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I loved going to my grandparents' house, and that's what I always did as a kid. I loved going over there and hanging out. And so I remember vividly grandparents' house off Telge Road, going over there, having my fucking having my Batman chucks on, dude, running around the house thinking I'm fucking Batman at 7 years old. My grandpa yelling at me, telling me to slow the fuck down, you know? And I mean, it was 1989.
Yeah.
I was I was 7 years old in 1989 when when the Michael Keaton version came out, man.
Yeah.
So it was insane. So like going through this process and even going a step further, my daughter was born July 18th of 2008. That is the day at 12:01 a.m. That is the day that The Dark Knight came out.
Yep.
So the number 2 in the Dark Knight series with Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Greatest Joker.
Hands down. Fucking amazing. No, don't get me wrong. Like Joaquin Phoenix, that movie
Phoenix,
was
that was ball.
pretty legit, right?
Yeah, the way that guy, the way he portrayed just the pain, right?
Well, you saw the complete
The psycho turn.
Everything.
You saw the psychosomatic events happen of like this guy only wanted to bring happiness to people.
Right.
And through the world's shitty turmoil, judgmental and bullying ways turned him from a person that just wanted to bring happiness to someone who fuck everyone.
Yeah.
I can't take it anymore. The world needs to burn. The fool from the beginning of that movie, we were like, dude, this guy just wants to bring people happiness.
Yeah.
To the end of it, where Robert De Niro gets what's coming to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, metaphorically.
Yeah.
In a movie.
Fuck yeah.
But
I love, dude, when he fucking shot him in the forehead.
Oh God, I was like,
so it was so amazing. Like you just like you, of course, it's not saying, hey, we want that to happen.
No.
The way it happened in the movie,
yeah, the way
was
the movie
amazing.
Turned. Oh man, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
cinematic, dude. When that happened, I got goosebumps.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit, this just came full circle perfectly.
Yeah,
this movie could not have ended any better.
He took the person that was supposed to be like the Johnny Carson, lovable, like America loves this guy. And I'm trying to remember his name. It was like it started with an M or something like that. Not Morty or something like that. It was something along those lines.
Moriarty?
But no, it was something along those lines. And he was just this lovable guy that everybody loved. And you realize, and he wasn't being a bad guy. Like Robert De Niro wasn't being a bad guy. He was trying to bring somebody on that was topical. There you go, Murray.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, he says you get what you're gonna fucking get.
Yeah,
dude. Like the way it feels, man, when he does that. It's so
he tapped into a part of everybody. Every person at one point has been in that fuck it mentality, right? Where you're just like so frustrated and so on edge that you just go fuck it, right? At one point or another, right? But the difference is when a normal person says fuck it, they just walk out of a room, right? Whereas he said fuck it, and he went off the deep end.
Pop somebody in the forehead.
Yeah, pop somebody in the forehead on national TV.
Well, that's okay.
Right?
So the Batman actually has the traditional Batman story has two of those kind of stories there. One of them was actually verbalized in the Dark Knight series, and it was along the lines of when Dent, he made the comment about like living long enough to become the villain.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the point. That's, to me, that's a huge point of the Batman is like he's already become the villain. Very big takeoff of the Watchmen. It's the mask. He's living in that society. It's almost, shit's already, dissolving, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
The other part is that though Batman is the hero, the life, the personality of that entire thing, what you realize who you are, what you realize what society is that you more closely resonate with, is the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one, like, I mean, it's hard, don't be wrong. Like if you're extreme, like I guess if you're an extremely wealthy person, like you might kind of glom onto that kind of mindset of a billionaire, that kind of thing. But the majority of the people realize that like me, and this is coming from a diehard Batman, like personality wise, all that other stuff, much more. Like you realize, like you much more associate with the Batman, like society. Batman represents what in my opinion, Batman represents what America is,
Mm-hmm.
or what it should be.
Yep.
The Joker represents what society is.
Yeah.
I think that's how the story's always been told.
Yeah. Through all the Batmans.
Yeah, and it's not about rich versus poor.
No. It's about morally right versus morally incompetent.
The belief that ultimately it is your responsibility to put yourself in harm's way for the betterment of everybody else, which is exactly what America does.
Yeah.
Puts itself out there every single day for the betterment of the world. Now, yeah, we fuck up a lot. We do a lot of shit. But when you've done enough, like, you're going to make some mistakes. Look, we made some major fucking mistakes. We made some mistakes in fucking Vietnam. We made some mistakes in Afghanistan and Iraq.
But here's the problem, right? Here's the problem is the people making those mistakes are the billionaires, not the people like you and me who go and who would be the ones on the ground. Like if we were to serve in the military, right? It's not everybody blames the US military, and that pisses me off so much.
No, yeah, you can't. You blame the military industrial complex. You blame the corporations.
You need to blame the politicians making the decisions, and you need to blame the people who are government officials making those decisions based on political advancement.
You can't blame the Marines. You can't blame the soldiers, the sailors, and the airmen. You can't blame them.
I've met some cool people doing this job.
I bet.
Yeah, like I've met some of the coolest motherfuckers you could ever possibly imagine. Some of the baddest fucking people that have ever walked this planet.
I bet.
Dude, one of my really good friends, he could walk into a room of 500 people and walk out alive with nobody else alive. Yeah. Like the guy is just hard.
It's Keanu Reeves. Is it John Wick?
No.
No, it's not him. Okay.
No, that guy's an actor. He's an actor. I'm talking about people that have watched life exit eyes on hundreds of occasions, right?
Absolutely.
At a very high level.
Absolutely.
Right? I meet a lot of people like that, right? And I met this old Vietnam veteran, and he was active duty special forces in Vietnam, right? Saw some hard shit. And I asked him, like, what was the craziest part of Vietnam? He said, coming home. I said, what do you mean? He said, coming home. He goes, it was crazy to me that I would come home from that and be the villain. He was like, and all I had to tell people was, you're blaming the wrong person. You're spitting on soldiers, getting off buses, when you should be picketing the Capitol.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, you should be talking to the politicians that sent us over there. We're just doing our job.
Right.
Right? And that's the same thing with today. Right? Like people are spitting on cops. Right? But here's what people aren't understanding. Right? People are human. That little
it's a gnat, dude.
It's been bothering me.
Yeah.
It's been landing on my mic like 15 times.
I think I got him there.
Yeah. So here's the problem, right? People blame cops for everything.
Right.
Right? Do you realize that the training budget for law enforcement agencies is fucking
nothing?
It's a joke.
Nothing.
It's a joke.
The last thing we need to do is defund the police. We 100%. Need to fund the police.
You want to fix the problem? Fund the police.
Sink more money into the training of them.
Yeah.
Hire better people.
Well, here's the problem. You know why nobody wants to do that job? Because of modern technology.
Yeah.
Who wants to go do a job where some news organization hires actors to go out and break the law and then get beaten up by resisting, right? Like, what happens if you punch a cop?
Right.
You get fucking tased.
Right.
Okay? So these news organizations are hiring actors, right? Crisis actors. And I know this
For a fact. Yeah.
It's not, this isn't fucking fake news, guys.
Hey, look, apparently the only thing, I don't know, we do have a ministry of disinformation being formed.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, by the way.
Yeah. That's a joke.
Are we literally in the 1984 George Orwell
We really
book?
are.
I mean, my God.
It's crazy. But you have these news organizations paying these crisis actors to go out, cause trouble, and document everything. And if you ever notice, right, you notice all these police, these police brutality things that are coming out online. It's short clips, but then somehow the long clip will come out.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. It's all about headlines, right? So this is how media works.
Right.
Is if I go to a store, right, and I'm gonna use a lady as an instance, right? Because I don't want to bring race or anything into this because then it invalidates the point. But say a female, right, says, I'm walking through the aisle, right, and I am not paying attention and accidentally I'm looking right at some cereal or some shit and I accidentally bump her with my cart, right? Oh my God, you fucking assaulted me.
Right.
Right? Hey, I'm so sorry. Like, my bad. I didn't mean to. I wasn't paying attention. I apologize. Right? No, you fucking piece of shit. You bumped into me. You misogynistic bastard. Blah 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 blah. And then next thing you know, she's grabbing my cart and she's shoving her cart at me, or she's shoving my cart at me, right? And then she spits on me, and then she slaps me, and she punches me, and she starts punching me, right? And eventually, I get tired of it, and I push her to the ground.
Right.
Right. Somebody recorded the whole thing.
Right.
Right. They send that whole clip to a news organization. The news organization is going to take
the part of you pushing her to the ground.
Me pushing her to the ground, and that's going to make the headlines. Right now, right, I am going to publish the whole clip, or somebody is going to publish the whole clip. But guess what? They're going to now publish the whole clip with a redaction or a retraction. But it's going to be
the original clip makes front page news.
Yeah, right.
The original, the whole thing goes back to the 7th page.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll find that on page 3 of Google.
Yeah,
which no one fucking goes to.
It might be on page 75 of Google.
Right.
You don't know.
Right.
Right. But here's the point. Right now, I am known as the woman hitter. Right.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. There's been countless. Dude, I know somebody. I know a police officer who was simply doing his job, and because he was defending himself against somebody who looked nothing like himself, he lost his job. Now, that person not only assaulted him, but attempted to take his life.
How?
With a knife.
Okay.
Pulled a knife.
So this civilian came at the cop with a knife
because he had stopped this civilian because apparently this guy got in a bar fight and tried to flee the scene.
Okay.
Well, he was walking down the street. The cops had a description, stopped the guy. Hey, and it was an obvious description, like you're wearing a yellow shirt with a cross on it or some shit.
Right,
like,
right.
It's not like we're stopping you because of the color of your
skin. Is it the same thing as the single cab yellow Dodge?
Yeah. Right. Like you're walking down the street in a very noticeable clothing set that was described by these people. We're not stopping you because of X, Y, and Z. We're stopping you because of this. Right. Well, ID, whatever, go fuck yourself. I'm not giving you my ID. I've done nothing wrong.
Sure.
Okay, well, there's reasonable suspicion that you have been involved in a crime, so we have the right to ID you, which is 100% correct.
Sure.
Right? No, fuck you. I'm not giving you my ID. Sir, either you give us your ID or we're going to have to detain you until we find out who you are. You're not fucking detaining me. All right, sir, calm down. All we're asking for is your ID. That's it. We're not arresting you. We just need ID. We just need identification so we can make sure you are who you say you are or aren't who you say you aren't. Right? Fuck you.
Spits on him.
Now you've assaulted a police officer.
Yeah.
Calmly, sir, put your hands behind your back, please. Fuck you. Pulls out a knife. Stabs him.
He ended up stabbing the cop.
He stabbed the cop. Yeah. Cop pulls a gun.
Do you shoot him or tase him?
Oh no! You stab a police. You stab me. I'm shooting you. A taser is made to mitigate violence. Once violence becomes deadly, you do not. Here's the thing, right?
So where do you stab him at?
Right inside of the vest.
Okay.
Right.
So in the opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Caused a serious injury.
Sure.
Right. Here's the problem. Right.
It's very actually very.
Tasers don't work that well.
No.
I've been tased.
I watched a video today of a cop literally standing, and there's a guy. He's clearly not complying.
Yeah.
He's not complying. He's not listening to the officer, and the cop pulls out his taser and he's like, "Look," he's like, "Don't fucking come near me. I'm gonna tase you."
Yeah.
And he pulls out his fucking taser, and he shoots the guy
with the taser,
and only one goes in.
Useless.
The other one falls to the ground. It's not doing anything.
It's ineffective. It's not doing anything. Now.
Right.
There's no conduit. Being
right. It has to connect.
Mm-hmm.
And so literally the guy is literally standing there because one just bounced off his skin. It didn't.
Giggling.
Yeah. And he's just looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a conversation with somebody. So I believe in more security. I believe in more police officers.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in
100%.
I believe, you know what? I believe in a bigger military.
100%.
You know what? There is a reason, not only because people are afraid of invading America because of the U.S. citizenry.
Not because of the military.
No. But the reason they don't come near us is because of the military. The reason they don't come within 100 miles of our shores.
You know what keeps you from getting hit with a stick? Having a bigger fucking stick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so when we park one of our fleets, I mean, we have something like 1,500 ships compared to the next biggest fleet is like 1/10 of the size.
Mm-hmm.
We park one off each fucking coast, and it has 50 fucking battleships in it. No one's coming near us, right? So I believe in a bigger military, not a smaller military, a bigger military. Maybe we shouldn't have more nuclear weapons. Maybe we should have like cooler nuclear weapons. I don't know, like the ones the fucking Russians are using that can change directions like in a fucking instant. Have you heard about those?
Mm-hmm.
We should have more of those. I think we have. We probably have them.
We have.
Don't know.
We've
you
got
know,
shit that you wouldn't even.
Oh, of course.
Fathom.
So, just military contractor. So put that stuff out there. So, like, I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for those things. Where we as like humans, like human beings, like individuals, somehow we have become disconnected with the thought process that we have a responsibility to society.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's totally gone.
Yeah, there are laws put in place. Like, okay, you elected officials. You voted for these people. If you chose not to vote, shame on you. That's the same thing. That's the same thing as voting for this person. Yeah. You put this person into office because whatever. If you believe that the criminal justice system is broken, go become a cop and be the version of the cop that you want to become.
Wants to do that, though.
No. The same thing goes with all of this other stuff. It's very deferral, and everybody else deflects it off onto everybody else, and
Would
they
you
think,
want to do that job? Do you want to be a cop?
Man, no.
So
not in today's society.
Finish that story real quick. Guy stabs him. Bam.
Yeah.
Right? Stabs him. He fucking grabs it to try to keep the knife in.
Yeah.
Right? Which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, because you'll turn into a fucking sieve.
Keeps the knife in, shoves the kid back. The kid falls to the ground. Right?
Yeah.
As the kid's getting up, the kid gets up and goes at him. He pulls his pistol and zippers the kid up. Pop, 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 pop.
Sure.
Right? Exactly what you're trained to do.
Yeah.
Well, local news stories, all they get is a picture of a cop shoving a kid getting up, and him shooting him.
And this here in Houston?
No.
Where's it at?
I'm really.
Okay.
Yeah. Try to keep it. The guy's already gone through so much shit.
Yeah.
If I give somebody a city, they can Google it, and
Sure.
if they Google it, they can find his name. And the guy's already gone through shit.
Well,
right?
unfortunately, the world we fucking live in, I mean, even with that much information,
Yeah, they could
somebody
probably find it. Right?
find it.
It was in a very liberal community.
Gotcha.
And I've got another example of that too, I'll tell you. But and this person is a well-known person who is a cop, who is a very influential person.
Shaq?
No. But anyway, that
I love Shaq, by the way.
Yeah, I do too. Shaq's shit.
Fucking Shaq is great.
Talk
I
about
fucking love him,
nature.
man. God damn, he's great.
But anyway, he immediately gets put on unpaid leave and then gets tried. Right? Loses. Even with all
unjustified shooting.
Unjustified shooting, even though it was perfectly justified. It has all the footage to back it up, but you're in the jury of your peers in a liberal community.
Yeah.
Right? Ended up having to file for an appeal, won the appeal, thank God.
Good.
Right? But lost his job.
Yeah.
Right? And at that point,
and his license to practice law.
Do you really want to do that job again? At that point? Fuck no.
You better be in love with what you do,
no,
man.
He didn't. He was like, dude, fuck this, man.
Yeah.
I put my life on the line, and a jury of my peers with all the evidence, my body cam footage showing me being extremely nice to this person and him fucking stabbing me.
Still saying he was
and then
justified.
Getting up and coming after me, and then I use deadly force. Now you're going to fucking convict me? Of jury of my peers? Fuck those people. They deserve whatever comes to them. I don't want to protect them.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
That's how he felt. That's how he felt. I know it's because I talked to him. That's exactly how I would.
But see, that's the crazy part about most cops.
Yeah.
About most cops. They're going to say, you know what? I'm still going to protect you.
No, 100%.
They're going to still look at these people.
Yeah.
And that is like, so I've got a bunch of family members that are police officers.
Yeah. My father-in-law was a homicide detective in Montgomery County for 25 years. So just retired.
Dude, that's awesome. But they're wired differently, man. Mm-hmm. Just like, 100%. Like God bless our Marines.
Oh yeah.
Because these motherfuckers are they're wired completely different. Like I went out to dinner last weekend with one of my Marine buddies. Oh, I fucking love him. He's a trip. But cops, police officers, they're wired differently because they're still going to walk out there and say, you know what? Hey, this community, you shit on my brother. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to still be here for you tonight.
Yeah, 100%.
When someone steals your car, when someone breaks into your house, when some piece of shit fucking beats up their girlfriend,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to be here.
I'm still going to be there. When somebody has a gun to your head,
mm-hmm.
or somebody has you barricaded in a house,
yeah.
and I don't know what's in there. I don't know if there's 5 guys in there with guns, or I don't know if there's 1 guy in there with guns, but I know you're in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to run in that motherfucker head first and take bullets for you.
God, that's.
But here's the problem. There's
that's what
not
I love about our
enough
cops,
of those
man.
people. There's not enough of those people. And the problem is the assholes screaming, defund the police, right?
Yeah, but now they're all coming back saying we need to fund them more. New York is putting more money into NYPD.
Now, because
Minneapolis.
Guess what? They defunded the police, and look what happened.
Yeah, their fucking crime tripled.
Dude.
It went through the roof.
Here's how you know it's crazy. When the staunch liberals, the famous staunch liberals, are moving away from those cities due to the crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something's broken. And it was already bad.
Yeah.
It was already bad. It gets worse.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing, right? I believe that you have to change. You have to hold your moral high ground in order to change something, right? You have to believe in something enough to die on that sword. So if you're going to hold that stance, don't take it back now, motherfucker.
Hmm.
No, I think honestly, if you're that defund the police asshole, you should have to fill out, I refuse 911 services when it comes to law enforcement.
But see, that's
medical aid, I'll take it.
That's the beautiful thing about the cops, though, man.
But they don't. Yeah, they're going to protect everybody.
Even if.
But if they had to do that, if they said, I want to defund the police, if you said, all right, put your money where your mouth is. Here's a piece of paper, sign it, and says you'll never take help from a cop. Yeah. So if you call 911 and say someone's in my house right now raping me and my daughter,
if you sign that piece of paper, I guarantee you every fucking cop in the city
would still come help you.
Still show up to save that person.
How many people would sign that paper?
Oh, a lot.
0.
No, a lot of people would sign that piece of paper to
when
say they want no cop, they want no help.
When they thought about it,
there's a lot of people out there right now.
There's probably some stupid motherfuckers who would sign it.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that
the somewhat intellectually intelligent people would go.
No. If anybody who can think through the problem, okay, first off, anybody who's experienced violence in any way in their life, they're going to say, oh, no, we need police officers. We may not agree with, okay, if you take all of this back.
Not all cops are good. There's some bad cops.
Absolutely.
I've met them.
So this was the conversation I had. This was the road I was going down with that. I had a conversation with this individual, and it really pissed me off because he made a comment about cops with guns. He's like, what do cops have guns for? Now, I'm only going to say this because I think it's like, I think it adds something to this. This is a guy, he's from California. He's a white liberal male.
Yeah.
And of course, he's one of these guys that's going to go even further than anybody else would. You know, it's like a convert to a religion. They're going to fucking like go crazy on that side of it.
Yeah, it's Gestapo tactics.
Right. Why do we have guns? Okay. Well, and I tell him, I said, well, the reality is, you know, there's a large population of people that aren't really fucking nice. There are people out there that have very bad intentions for other people. Mm-hmm. They have zero intention of doing the right thing. And it's not everybody. It's not a very large population.
It's the 5% of the community.
Yeah, it's a very small percentage of people.
But that's a lot.
But the reason the cops have guns is to protect us.
Yeah.
They don't want to. They don't want to pull those guns out because they are human beings. They don't want to take another life. You're not going to meet another person in the military that fucking reveled in taking someone else's life. Okay? They're not. It's not something that's enjoyable.
Unless it was the guy who took out Bin Laden. I'd revel in that shit.
I can almost promise you
he didn't.
I can almost promise you to this day he did not.
No. Yeah, trust me. I meet a lot of those guys.
Yeah. So
there's some.
I won't go down the road on this show.
Yeah. You take.
I'll tell you some stories off of here.
Listen, man. There's a reason one of the most popular therapeutic. There's a reason you see a lot of active duty special forces guys get out of the military and they go straight to peyote therapists.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's not an easy thing to do, man.
Or ayahuasca.
Oh, absolutely.
Ayahuasca's big.
Big time. So actually, Elliot, he now granted his a little different. He's dealing with some addiction.
Yeah.
He came clean in 2004, completely sober since 2004. Now is going on like an herbal kind of like exploratory life experiment thing. He's gone as DMT
tank.
Exactly.
So
life. This weekend he's actually going to Austin for a big ayahuasca ceremony. So fucking jealous.
I've got a good buddy of mine.
I'm so jealous.
I've got a really, really good friend of mine, and I won't say his name because he's still active duty special forces. He's a Green Beret. He's one of the baddest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. He's a hard dude, right? But such a great family man, dude. Like one of the nicest dudes you've ever met. Like that guy could have just met you 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
And if someone walks in a room and tries to take your life, he will fucking fight until there's not a breath left to save you.
Yeah.
That's the type of person he is. But that type of dude has done some really, really dark shit.
Sure.
Right? And it took a big toll on me. And this is one of my best friends. We've had a long conversation about this, right? And when he gets out, even maybe while he's still in, which is why I won't really tell you who it is, he wants to try some ayahuasca. He wants to go do an ayahuasca journey because there's and he put it this way. He said there's a certain part of your psyche that leaves your soul when you take a life. And when you take multiple lives, that piece gets bigger and bigger. And at his point, I mean, you're talking about a guy who realistically has taken hundreds of lives.
Right.
In reality, I mean, he's been decade and plus. You know what I mean? He's done some heavy shit, some hard tours. He's not just a normal army guy, right? He's not 0311 infantry where those guys will see combat once. And not taking away anything from 0311 guys. You guys are badasses. But he's not seeing one tour going into battle may schwack one or two dudes, you know what I mean? Through the
right. His random weekend might be being put on a fucking C 111 or flown overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get it.
Yeah. So he's pondering ayahuasca. I've done it.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of it, man?
It was great. So,
Where'd you do it at?
Mexico City, Mexico. I did it after my football injury.
Okay,
Because
so
my whole life had been sports, right?
Yeah.
My whole life had been football. And
so how old were you when you did it?
19.
Do you think it was like? Do you want to do it again?
Yeah. I want to wait until I'm 40.
So
live a little bit more life. But I was a fucking wild man.
But I mean, like, okay, so but at 19, you like you hadn't
Almost 20.
like. I mean, that's kind of the thing, right?
Here's why I did it. My whole life had been sports. I
Okay.
truly believed in my heart of hearts that I was going to be a professional football player.
Okay.
And I feel I had the talent, and I had the work ethic,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the physical ability. I felt I had it all. I broke my tibia and my fibia, compound fracture, folded. Like if you take my knee and my ankle, right in the middle, bam. Yeah, bone came out the back of my calf muscle. It's gnarly. I got a nasty scar down there. You should see it.
Dude, that's
Titanium
fucking
rust
cool.
and everything. Yeah, it was gnarly.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah. It's
You got a good scar?
Oh, it's sexy.
I got one of those.
From about
I got one.
from about 4 inches above my Achilles to the back of my knee. Gnarly scar all the way up.
Dude, that's a fucking trip right
yeah,
there.
so your whole life is athletics, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I grew up playing football from the time I was young, powerlifting. Like, I'm a fucking athlete.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, that's over like that,
Yeah,
right?
instant.
Scholarships gone, everything gone.
Can I ask you something about that? So that snap, did you have any like indicating pain? Did you have anything like
Yep.
microfractures, stuff like that?
Yes.
You just kept playing through shit.
Yeah, so what I thought was shin splints turned out to be microspiral fractures down my tibia and my fibia.
Okay.
But I thought it was just a really bad case of shin splints.
Okay.
But I was playing through it, right? Like, I'm not a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to go into the season.
Play
Not
through this
slowing
shit.
down.
No, fuck no.
Yeah.
2 days and fucking Texas football, Texas high school football.
Not only that, I had it before powerlifting season.
No.
So I had what I thought was shin splints leading into powerlifting season. So then I go into powerlifting season,
You're crushing it, dude.
and I'm squatting 6+, deadlifting 7+.
What can you do now?
Hard.
What do you do
Hard.
now?
I got under 505 the other day and pulled it.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations, dude.
Yeah. Well, dude, I used to lift a lot more than that.
Deadlift.
Yeah, it's all.
Dude, congratulations on that,
I
man.
could teach you how to do it in 30
Dude, no, I mean,
minutes.
that's honestly, so that right there.
I
you
could
see-
get you. I
you
could
see how
get
that-
you,
see
I
how
could
that
get
is?
you a set of wrist straps
Oh,
to where you're not leaning on your grip strength, and I could have you pulling well over 505 in about 30 minutes.
Oh, no,
It's
I mean-
all, it's all structure, it's all form, it's all leverage. It's so simple.
I can pull 600.
Easy.
Yeah.
So there you go. You know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. I mean, I can do it. I can pull
Yeah.
600. I can squat about 465, 470.
Yeah, it's all leverage.
Yeah.
It's all form. It's all everything. But that was the first time, because since my auto accident, it's the first time I had pulled
But-
a heavy weight.
Only thing I was saying is, well, this right here. See how that
Mhm.
is?
Yep.
So I was actually at, well, it's now the Body Lab. Rob was there.
Yep.
His original partner was there, Chris,
Mhm.
and Quentin was there.
Yeah.
And this was November of 2020.
Yeah.
November 2020. Just wait, before everything kicked off, like really, really bad. And I tore my bicep.
Fuck.
So actually what it was, I was pulling a 500-pound deadlift.
Nightmares.
Yeah. And luckily the tendon did not pull off the fucking bone. The muscle curled back.
Way easily fixable.
Oh yeah. So it's coming back.
Yeah.
Luckily, what was really weird is, I want to say that was a week before Thanksgiving. I was immediately back in there pushing. I couldn't pull.
Yeah.
I couldn't pull for about 2 months.
Yeah.
Couldn't pull anything. So, I mean, so that was November of 2020. I hit November of 21. No, not November. Oh God, it was September of 20. I hit 500, and then now I can do about 650.
Yeah.
So, but I've never been a lifter.
Yeah.
That was the thing. I was never a lifter. Skating, we didn't lift.
No. It's not. The only reason I can still do that, and that's the first time I deadlifted at all in years since my accident. I haven't even attempted it because deadlift is a stupid exercise to begin with.
So, like, you pulled 500 just like how long ago?
3 weeks.
Even with your fucking back.
Yeah, my back is pretty good now, so I do
you wear a
lot
belt?
of rehab though. Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
I refuse to wear a belt.
I do.
I refuse.
Only when I'm deadlifting though.
Nope. I won't wear it squatting or deadlifting.
Why not?
Because if I have to lift a fucking like a cabinet off my kid, I don't have time to get my belt. No.
But here's the thing.
That's the functional part of
safe
me.
while you're training, right?
Yeah, but
that's
I'm
like people.
building
That's
into
like
it.
people who look at the guns that I shoot and they go, "That's not what you would carry."
So let me. I'll put it into this.
Training is training.
I didn't use a belt at 500.
Yeah.
I used a belt at 650.
Yeah. When you push heavyweight, you gotta have it.
Right.
So I did it. I did it just to prove to myself that I could still do it.
Yeah.
Right. Because my best deadlifting competition was senior year. The last state title I won was 685, unsuited, 745 suited. I mean, knee wraps, the whole deal, right? So,
God damn, dude.
I never will pull that weight again.
No,
it'll never happen.
There's no
right?
purpose for it.
No, fuck no. And deadlift, listen, deadlift is the dumbest exercise on the planet. I don't deadlift for deadlift is the most pointless lift you could possibly do with the most dangerous outcome.
Okay, I have an opinion about this. Tell me why you think that.
So, here's my opinion. In order to be strong, right? Everyone has this idea that you have to be able to do a certain amount of weight in these certain lifts. Right? When you get in a deadlift, right? You're putting 85% of the stress in your hamstrings and your lower back for the first 20% of the lift.
Sure.
Those are the two most prone to injury muscle groups in the entire body.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So why do it? When you can train lower back safely 90 other ways, and you can train hamstrings safely 90 other ways.
Right.
You can train quads, you can train everything, you can train back, you can train hip flexors, you can train everything safely. Why do a lift that the first 20% of the lift, which is arguably the hardest part of the lift, not arguably, it is 100% the hardest part of the lift. The first 20% is the most difficult part.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get the first 20% and you have good hip flexor flexibility and good tension on your hips and your quads, you can press through anything after the first 20%.
Sure.
Right? So if the first 20% of the lift is the most injury prone of the lift, and it's on the two muscle groups in your body that are the most injury prone, not only the most injury prone part of your body, but the longest recovery. If you tear a hamstring, that is one of the longest recovering muscle groups you could possibly tear in your body.
Sure.
If you hurt your lower back, speaking from experience, it is the hardest part of your body to rehab that doesn't cause permanent injury. You can rehab a lower back to almost 100%, but your lower back injures faster than anything else, right? So if you know those factors, why even do that lift?
So here's the other side of that. This is only my side of it, because I say this like I have chronic lower back pain.
Yeah.
Speed skating. My back's I'm hunched over the entire time. So
I've seen the speed skaters. They are literally their whole upper body is at almost a 90-degree angle the whole way down the track. It's nuts.
Every speed skater, every person who's ever speed skated in their life at a high level or even for years has chronic back pain. Okay. Here's the thing that I look at a deadlift. It's a pointless exercise.
Mm-hmm.
There is zero functional application to a deadlift. If I'm lifting, like I said, if I'm lifting a cabinet off of a kid, it weighs 80 pounds at the most. most cabinets lift like 30, 40 pounds. I can pick up a 36-inch cabinet wide, not a problem. But there is no other exercise out there that exhibits pure strength, pure body connection, your full total top to bottom strength than a deadlift.
100%. Because
like you said, it uses your hamstrings and your back for the first 20%.
Then it's
100%, 100% of the first 20% is your back and your hamstrings.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is you got to train the fuck out of your hamstrings and your back just to be able to go through that first 20%. Everything else is quads, calves, shoulders, traps, all that shit. Yeah.
Everything.
All that stuff.
Grip strength, all of it.
It hits 95% of all your muscle groups.
100%. So as far as total body lift,
yeah,
it is the ultimate total body lift. But that is where I say it's an ego lift.
Oh yeah.
Because here's the problem.
There's no functional point to it.
There's no reason.
It looks great on Instagram.
100%.
Yeah.
It's sexy.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
It's sexy, right?
Especially when I get it from behind. It shows my ass and it's all fucking sweaty and everything.
Sure.
Fuck yeah. It's great.
But dude, like chicks make millions of dollars deadlifting on their Instagram.
Oh my god, okay. So I actually had a conversation with this the other day.
Did I just strike a nerve?
I fucking hate this. So I have this friend, dude. She's this beautiful blonde girl, lives in Austin. She's a great person. She's fun and funny. She's a great person. But she's this tiny little fucking blonde, beautiful thing. She can barely fucking squat to full depth 135, right? And she will post a video of her doing that, and she'll get 14,000 likes on her fucking.
Dude, nobody cares about the lift. Nobody cares about it. They care about the hot little blonde doing the exercise.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in, man. Here's the problem.
Her great yoga pants and everything.
So
you can barely see like a fucking faint outline of her thong, and that's about it.
Here's the issue with that, right? And this is a big issue. And this is what makes me terrified to have a daughter. All right? This is no bullshit.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, dude, having a daughter is the best thing in the world.
Oh, I'm so excited. Like, I want to have a daughter so bad, but I'm nervous.
It's the best thing in the world.
And I'm going to hopefully instill in her that there are proper role models and improper role models. But you have women who become major influences for simply being really good looking.
Yeah.
The most famous woman on earth got famous for sucking a dude's dick.
Pamela Anderson?
Kim Kardashian.
Okay.
She got famous for her sex tape with Ray J, which came out, and then shortly after that, you had the Kardashians.
So I'm going to put this out there. I'm very disconnected from a lot. I can't tell you which Kardashian is which.
Good for you.
Like, I honestly could not tell you.
I unfortunately have a wife who makes me aware of that shit. She doesn't idolize them or anything, but she's like, you don't know who the Kardashians are? Like, come on. Like, so I know who the Kardashians are, right?
Like, I know who Caitlyn Jenner is.
Yeah. You mean Bruce?
Yeah, Bruce.
You can't be a fucking one of the greatest Olympians of all time and then decide to be a woman.
No. You know what? Here's the thing. So
listen, I'm gonna call him Caitlyn. I'm gonna call her Caitlyn.
Yeah.
But dude, you will forever be
Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner, dude.
So here's the thing.
One of the greatest Olympians of all time.
That's the point. So you can. This is the crazy, fucked up part about the society we live in today, right? With again, all hail Elon.
Yeah.
Bring in all this fucking, the censorship and all this other bullshit. You're gonna get fucking banned from Twitter for dead naming somebody. All this other stuff. Here, the facts are, Bruce Jenner won the fucking Olympics. He was one of the best athletes in American history.
Yep.
Okay.
He was on a box of fucking Wheaties.
Absolutely.
All right.
But hey, hey,
him
Bruce.
and Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Like what?
But at the same time, Brucey, you want to cut your DD off. You want to, get rid of your little PP. And
more power to you.
Cool, man. You want to you want to change your Audi to an Innie? all
wanna
good,
change
bro.
your hobby to-
All good, bro.
Yeah, I'm all for it, dude.
Yeah, I'm
Whatever.
happy
If
for
that's
you.
who you really are. I
But-
honestly think that
but-
he lived with crazy bitches long enough. He became a crazy bitch.
I think there was, oh god, there was a huge influence for all
Yeah,
that shit.
yeah.
Well, and that was the really weird part, man, because when he was going through his bullshit to become her, they were on their rise too. The Kardashians were on their rise.
Mm-hmm.
And the really fucked up part is that because of who they were dating, that part of society thought that it was going to bring influence over to the progressive world and all this bullshit. But come to find out, they're all really fucking conservative. Why? Because they're uber fucking rich and they don't want you taking their fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
They want less taxes. They don't want you in their fucking pockets. Yeah, of course they have a house in California, but they don't homestead there.
Mm-mm.
Fuck no. Half of them live here in Texas and in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna fucking live in California so they can pay fucking estate taxes and all the other the state income taxes and bullshit. Fuck that. And it was just really weird when all of that was occurring.
Yeah, it was really, really weird.
Like it was just like this. It was this rise. Hey, and again, like, so I put this thing out on my Facebook yesterday, like it's about happiness. Like life is about happiness.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you're a fucking miserable person by yourself, you're gonna be a miserable person when you're fucking with somebody.
100%.
So be happy.
Yeah.
Hey, if you got an Audi, you got an innie, you got fucking titties, you got no titties. As long as you're fucking happy.
Yeah.
Right?
If that's what makes you happy, go for it.
Right. So there was this weird fucking environment that we lived in where Caitlyn Jenner was all of a sudden becoming like known. Like he killed somebody, Bruce Jenner killed somebody in a fucking car crash. And all of a sudden now it's being announced that he's transgender and is Caitlyn Jenner. Bruce Jenner becomes Caitlyn Jenner after he kills somebody in a fucking car accident. And then you have this
While drunk.
right. And then you have this fucking like push of this culture, of this environment, of the Kardashians, and this weird fucking god damn.
Well, the Kardashians were pushed and really famous long before he transitioned.
Right, but it like the media never got behind it. Like society was there because the
Society was behind him 100%.
they
but the
cared about
media
these
never got
pretty
behind it,
people.
Yeah, yeah.
All of a sudden, now the media has become invested in
Yeah.
this environment.
Yeah. And the problem I have with it, and here's where I was going with that, right? Dude, I'm going to give you 4 examples. Julie Globe, the Williams sisters, Lena Mikulek, Ashley Roark.
Okay.
All 5 of those women,
Mm-hmm.
between them, have probably 60 national and world shooting titles and are some of the most amazing women.
Wait, Williams, not Serena Venus.
No.
Explain that.
Justine and Jalise Williams.
Okay.
They're, I think, 18 and 19 now, or 17 and 19. Between them have like 35 national and world championships. And they're teenagers. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. Julie Globe, who's going to go down as one of the best female shooters of all time. First female to sign a multi-million-dollar shooting contract with, I think it was Springfield.
Great guns, by the way.
Lena Mikulek, who should go down as the greatest female shooter of all time. I mean, she's still my age.
Yeah.
And she, from a teenager, has been fucking dominating the world of shooting sports. Not just as a female, as a fucking competitor, like putting the brakes on dudes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Multiple, tens and tens of, dozens of national and world championships. And then Ashley Roark, right? Team Glock shooter, great all-around person, has won multiple national titles. Those are the type of women that a girl growing up should look up to in my sport, right? I'm talking about my sport, right?
Sure.
And then you've got women outside of that, right? Who there's so many those are just 5 examples from my small little culture, right? That I know and love, right? Just the shooting community, which makes up less than 1% of United States citizens. Like there's only like 65 or 70,000 of us in the U.S. That's such a small, tiny little percentage.
Is that even? I mean, well, if you think about it,
that's less than 1%.
Yeah,
easily.
well, that's
far less.
That's half of 1% because what 3 million people is
330 some odd million people in the world.
Well, yeah, because 33 million people, so carry the fucking zero and all
it's
this other bullshit.
Small
10%.
percentage.
Yeah, it's like half of 1%.
In the world, there's probably
I know my gazentas.
In the world, there's probably like 1 million competitors.
Really?
Yeah, in the between USPSA and IPSC, there's probably 1 million people that shoot competitively, right? And that's not including like 3-gun and PRC. Legit shooting sports, there's a lot more than that, right? Because you have so many Olympic shooting sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
is that your goal? Do you want to go to the Olympics at this point? Would you care about something like that? Could you go to the Olympics?
No. It's not an Olympic sport.
Could you transition into
pick an Olympic sport, Olympic shooting sport, train on it for 6 months, and probably go win a gold medal?
Do you have to do the skiing shit?
No.
So you can just do regular Olympic shooting.
Yeah. Marksmanship's marksmanship.
Yeah. Because they have what's that one where they do like it's like 10 different events when they're on the skis. It's a winter
biathlon, or whatever it is.
But they have regular shooting. During the Summer Olympics.
They have rimfire and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like they have 3 position and all that. I could fucking trigger control's trigger control.
Yeah.
Right. You put those guys in my world, they won't even scratch the surface.
But you don't care about that at all.
No. Now we have what's called the World Shoot.
Okay.
Which is where 168 countries send their 4 best shooters in every category to go compete against each other for world supremacy. So it's like the Olympics for shooting sports, right?
Please tell me America dominates.
Well, actually, a French guy dominates.
Motherfucking French.
So
son of a bitch.
So overall,
bunch of fucking quitters.
No. Overall, U.S. fucks them up,
yeah,
right, throughout the whole thing. But there is a French guy, his name's Eric Graffel. He will go down and should very well go down as the greatest, and I'm talking about any shooting sport on earth that has ever been competed in ever. Fucking whoever has pulled a trigger in the history of the world, he should go down as the greatest trigger puller of all time. From the time he was 16 years old, he is now in his 40s.
Yeah.
He has never lost a fucking match. They call him the supercomputer. He is the most dominant, in my opinion, he is the most dominant athlete to ever live.
How many events he won?
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
How many at the world level?
Like fucking a dozen.
Really?
Yeah. But multiple golds.
So I'm just gonna throw this out there.
That's like Michael Phelps, right?
Yeah.
Think about it this way.
Yeah.
The World Shoot happens every 3 years.
Yeah.
The Olympics happens
every 4 years.
Right? So that would be like Michael Phelps or Shaun White or whoever. Think of a great Olympian. That would be like an Olympian from the time they were 16 years old to the time they are almost in their 50s, going to every Olympics and winning multiple golds over the course of like 3 decades.
So I actually had there's an athlete. You have to look him up. He's from here, lives in Spring.
Shut up.
Lives in Spring. He lives in Wood Forest, right up the road.
No lie. All right.
Yeah. So grew up with him. He's 4 years older than I am. From the age of 16 to the age of about mid-30s, he is the most decorated athlete in American history. His name's Chad Hedrick.
Chad Hedrick.
You've never fucking heard of him.
No, I haven't.
He is the greatest athlete. Honestly, and I say this like Chad and I have a really checkered past, but I love the man like who he is today, and I love him like as the competitor he is.
Yeah.
He has won. It's in the realm of 60. No, it's 53. I think it's 53. 50, something like that. 53 gold medals.
Okay.
At the World Championships.
This is what we need to do. I've got to pee again because I'm drinking water and whiskey like it's nobody's business.
Well, look, it's actually, we've been going on now. Oh my God. We've been going on now for about 3.5 hours.
Fucking cool.
So, look.
We need to do it again.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up.
I was say this. Yeah, we could call it quits here.
Okay.
This is a good place for us to go.
I like it.
Definitely could carry this on for fucking forever.
Yeah. We gotta do this again, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
This is a lot of fun.
Trevor Cotter, dude, where can people find you at?
So you can find me on all social media platforms, Bangin_Brass, BANGIN_BRASS. You can find me at all social media platforms, YouTube, all that. I also have a podcast. It tends to go very, very long as well. Bangin' Brass podcast. And I just like to shoot shit and be a dumbass. So if you like people who do that, then cool. Come find me.
Bangin' Brass, man. It's so fitting in so many ways, man. Dude, Trevor, dude. It's an absolute pleasure.
Dude, this was so fun. We are so going to do this again.
Absolutely, man.
If you'll have me. I mean, I don't know.
I definitely will. Definitely will, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, dude.
All right, man. See ya.
Bye.